Hi, welcome back guys. This is your friend, Lettuce Head Fanfics. Back with amazing fanfiction. This is the series of What if Deku gets offered to become Vigilante? Now before starting, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this. Now let's get into the fanfic. It was a normal sunny day when a giant villain attacked the city. However, two heroes quickly arrived to confront him. As the heroes engaged in battle, a stranger observed the scene from a rooftop. He noted how the civilians stood by, watching as if it were a movie. In his mind, the stranger thought, how could these civilians enjoy watching these heroes fight for praise? Good thing I'm here now. But first, I need to familiarize myself with the area to navigate it better. As he prepared to leave, he didn't notice that a boy in the crowd, Izuku Midoriya, caught a glimpse of him. Deku wondered, was that a person up there? Just then his watch alarm beeped, reminding him he was late for school. He quickly finished his notes and rushed to school, arriving just in time. The school day proceeded normally, but when the teacher asked who would be attending UA High, everyone raised their hands, especially Deku. Some students leaned in toward him. Hey Midoriya, one student said. Why yes. Deku replied. You do know you need a quirk to go to that school, right? The student continued. I know, but I think I could give it a try, Deku said, hopeful. That's nice and all, but you should probably give up before you're disappointed, the student advised. But, Deku started. He's right. You should just figure out what you're meant to do in life, another student chimed in. Oh okay, Deku responded, feeling deflated. As the day ended, Deku packed his belongings but stopped when he saw Bakugo and his friends approaching. Oi, Deku, let's have a chat, Bakugo said. Sure, what do you want to talk about, Kakin? Deku asked nervously. I want to know why you raised your hand, Bakugo demanded. What do you mean? Deku replied. When the teacher asked who would be attending UA, you raised your hand. Why did you do that? I was thinking that I could. Could what? Go to UA? A quirkless nerd like you has no chance, so just give up, Bakugo interrupted. But Kakin, I think I could enroll there, Deku insisted. Stop joking around. You don't belong there. Maybe you should just give up, Bakugo sneered. After Bakugo insulted him, he grabbed Deku's notebook and used his quirk to damage it before throwing it out the window. As Deku stepped out of school, he found his notebook floating in water. He pulled it out, only to see all his notes about heroes completely drenched. Holding it tightly to his chest, he began to leave the school, unaware that the stranger from earlier was nearby, running on the rooftops. Man, I've only been running through the rooftops for a couple of hours and still haven't observed much of the city, the stranger thought. As he continued, a loud noise caught his attention. He investigated and found a large figure under a bridge. Not wanting to engage in a fight, he hid and peeked to see who it was. He watched as the figure picked up a boy and recognized him immediately. All Might, the stranger thought. All Might then lifted off into the air, and the stranger followed to confront him. Once All Might landed in a neighborhood, he set the boy down and proceeded to wake him up. The boy began to fanboy over All Might. The stranger kept his distance, waiting for the boy to leave so he could fulfill his purpose. After All Might gave the boy an autograph, the boy unexpectedly grabbed All Might's leg and flew up into the air with him. That kid is insane, the stranger remarked. He followed them to a nearby rooftop and managed to climb up. Once on top, he hid and overheard their conversation. Can anyone without a quirk be a hero just like you? Deku asked. I'm sorry, but you can't, All Might replied. As All Might prepared to leave, Deku remained on the rooftop, looking sad. The stranger contemplated what he had just overheard when a loud explosion erupted nearby. All Might returned to the rooftop and leaped into the air toward the sound, prompting Deku to rush out after him. The stranger decided to follow as well. He quickly made it to another rooftop and saw a boy being attacked by a sludge villain, noticing that the heroes around him were not intervening. Why aren't they doing anything? That boy is going to get hurt or worse, killed. If they won't help him, then I will. The stranger began to pull out his katana, ready to jump off the rooftop, when he saw the same boy he thought couldn't be a hero running straight towards the sludge monster to attempt a rescue. The boy tried his best to pull his friend out but ended up getting caught by the sludge villain's grasp. Suddenly, All Might appeared and defeated the sludge villain with a powerful punch, freeing the two boys. The civilians cheered for All Might, but the stranger remained focused on the boy who had charged into danger despite the risks. That boy is truly brave, he thought. He risked his own life to save another. I must speak to him at once. After everything that happened, Deku began walking home when he was suddenly snatched off the street and taken to a rooftop. Disoriented, he saw the stranger who had taken him and felt a bit frightened. Who are you? Deku stammered. Before I answer your question, I want to ask why you ran towards that sludge monster, the stranger replied. My childhood friend was in danger, and none of the other heroes were doing anything, so I stepped in to save him myself. But it seems I wasn't strong enough, Deku admitted. I don't know if you're stupid or insane, but I do know that both of those words make you braver than any hero could be. Ah, really? Yes, and that's why I want to train you to be a vigilante. A vigilante? Yes. I know you were rejected by All Might for being a hero, so I want to train you to be something greater than a hero, a vigilante. Take my hand, and I will teach you my techniques and show you that being a vigilante is far greater than being a hero. Deku thought long and hard about this choice, remembering everything everyone had told him about not being able to be a hero. He reached out and grabbed the stranger's hand. You have made your choice. I will answer your question. My name is Stain, and for now, you will call me Sensei. And on that day, the quirkless boy Izuku Midoriya became a student of Stain. After that fateful day, where Deku agreed to be trained by Stain, he was instructed to head to a specific location to start his training. He took a train and a bus to reach a shady part of the city filled with abandoned buildings, remnants of battles between heroes and villains. He finally arrived at an abandoned warehouse where Stain had told him to go. Cautiously, he stepped inside and began looking around. Hello, Mr. Stain, are you here? Suddenly, Deku heard a loud thump from behind him. He turned slowly but saw no one. When he turned back around, he was met with a fist to the face, knocking him off his feet. As he got up, he saw Stain standing over him. Rule number 1, never let your guard down. Stain grabbed Deku by his shirt and lifted him back to his feet, brushing him off. Did you really need to hit me? Of course. How else would you learn the lesson faster? This brings me to rule number 2. Listen to what I say even if it sounds crazy. Got it? Okay. Now that you know rules 1 and 2, let me tell you rule number 3. Suddenly, Stain pulled out his sword and pointed it in front of Deku's face, filling him with fear. Don't die on me. Hearing that, the fear began to fade away, replaced by determination. I won't let you down, Stain. Stain then tapped him on the head with the bottom of his sword. It's Sensei. Get it right. Sorry, I will next time. All right, let's start training. To begin, Stain instructed Deku to stand on one foot on a beam. Sensei, I'm confused. How is this training? It will help you with balance and your reflexes. I understand the balance, but how will this help my reflexes? Oh, you'll see. Stain moved behind a pillar and grabbed a basket filled with tomatoes. He began throwing them at Deku. Deku managed to dodge 3, but the fourth hit him in the face, causing him to fall off the beam and land on some sandbags below. Stain approached him, looking down and wiping the tomato off his face. Now do you understand about reflexes? Right, Sensei, I do now. Now that you understand, get up. We're moving to the next training. Wise, Sensei. Once Deku was back on his feet, he followed Stain to the next training area, which was filled with obstacles. Here, put this on. Stain threw Deku a black jacket that had a strange smell, but Deku put it on anyway. So why do I have to wear this for training? Simple. You need to work on your stamina by running a lot. And I bet you're wondering what a jacket has to do with stamina. Well, that's simple too. Suddenly, Stain pulled off a sheet from a crate, revealing a cage with 3 large dogs inside, barking and growling at Deku, which made him very scared. These little pooches haven't eaten in quite some time, and from the smell of raw meat coming from that jacket I gave you, they're going to be after you until they can get to it. So your training is to do your best to avoid getting caught by these dogs, or I'll have to take drastic measures. Got it? WB. Judging by the stutter in your voice, it seems you're ready. Now run. Stain opened the cage, releasing the dogs. Deku began running as fast as he could, jumping over obstacles to evade them. He kept this up for 30 minutes until he found himself surrounded by the dogs while hanging upside down from a pole, calling out for Stain to help him. Please, Sensei, help me. Sigh. Well, I guess I should help the kid before he gets eaten alive. He gave a loud whistle, attracting the 3 dogs, who ran over and sat down. Deku let go of the pole and touched the ground again, his legs shaky from the exertion. Stain put the dogs back in their cage and threw a large piece of meat inside. He approached Deku and placed a hand on his shoulder. You did well for your first time, but it looks like you're still shaken up. We're going to take a 5-minute break until you calm down. After that, we'll move to your next training. After 5 minutes, Stain brought Deku to the rooftop of the building. Now that you're not shaking anymore, this training will be the most important one: combat. You can't dive into a fight expecting to win without knowing how to fight first. We'll work on hand-to-hand combat and then using weapons. Do you understand? Yes, Sensei, I do. All right, now show me your fighting stance. Once Deku demonstrated his stance, Stain realized it would take a lot of work. That stance is weak. Anyone could break through it and defeat you easily. For now, observe my stance and see how different it is from yours. Stain showcased his fighting stance, and Deku noticed many differences. Stain stood sideways, eyes locked on Deku, with his left arm protecting his chest. In the blink of an eye, he was suddenly right in front of Deku, his left fist poised beneath Deku's chin. There's a lot you must know before becoming a vigilante. If you listen to me and train hard, you will save lives more than the heroes do. Your training has just begun, and it won't end until you can defeat me in a fight. If you can't handle this training, then quit now and go back to your old life, knowing this opportunity has slipped through your fingers. The choice is yours. I'll stay and endure everything you put me through. I will complete your training and beat you in our fights. Stain grinned widely, impressed by Deku's determination. Now that's what I like to hear. The first month of training was more difficult than Deku had imagined. He often fell from the pole after being hit by a tomato, and running from the dogs was challenging. He even got bitten on the leg by one, which left him limping for the rest of the day. Combat training was even tougher, as Stain never held back. Even when Deku used weapons, Stain would quickly disarm him. After each grueling session, Stain would patch him up and offer advice on techniques to improve. By the second month, Deku was more prepared. During his training on balancing and dodging, he managed to avoid nearly all the tomatoes Stain threw at him, though he still needed to work on his balance. In the dog run, he used his surroundings to escape as best he could, nearly outrunning the dogs until he tripped and fell. Just as the dogs were about to reach him, Stain intervened. In combat training, Deku improved significantly. He even managed to graze Stain's cheek with a punch. While he was decent with a sword and knives, he excelled with a bow staff and batons. His stamina training allowed him to keep up with Stain's sword fighting using the bow staff, but Stain still had the upper hand due to his extensive experience. As the third month arrived, Deku trained until sunset with Stain. He successfully dodged all the tomatoes and even caught the last one, impressing Stain. During the dog run, he managed to outrun 2 of the dogs, facing off against the alpha. Using agility, he evaded its attacks by running along walls and performing backflips. After a few minutes, the alpha finally stopped chasing him, breathing heavily. Having completed 2 training objectives, Deku's final challenge would be combat, the toughest of all. I'm proud of you, Izuku. You managed to complete the 2 trainings that you were having difficulty with. Thank you, Sensei. It was all thanks to your advice to improve my techniques. That's good, but this training will be your final test. You have improved in hand-to-hand combat and weaponry as well. Now choose your weapon of choice, and we'll face each other. If you beat me, then you have completed your training once and for all. But if I beat you, then you will have to start from square one again. I understand, Sensei. I won't disappoint you. I'm hoping you won't. Deku approached a table with various weapons laid out. He reached for the katana but then switched to another weapon, grabbing the bow staff instead. Are you sure you want that bow staff to be your weapon of choice? Yes. I've trained with it much longer than I have with a sword. This will be my weapon to help me defeat you. Very well. Get into your fighting stance and we may start. Deku moved to the other side of the rooftop and assumed his fighting stance. Stain pulled out his katana and took his stance as well. They stood opposite each other, their audience a group of crows perched on the edges of rooftops and old telephone poles. Suddenly, as one of the crows took flight, Deku and Stain charged at each other. Stain leaped into the air, attempting to slash Deku from above, but Deku evaded just in time. He swung his bow staff towards Stain, who leaned back to avoid it. Stain unleashed a barrage of slashes at Deku, who skillfully blocked them with his bow staff. When Stain slashed again, Deku ducked, attempting to trip him with the staff. Stain anticipated this and jumped over the attempt. Looking up, Deku saw Stain descending with his sword ready to strike. Knowing he couldn't evade the attack, Deku raised his bow staff to block it. However, when Stain's sword struck, it sliced the staff in half. Deku was shocked to see his weapon destroyed so easily. Stain looked at him, knowing he had won this battle against his student. It seems that your weapon is no longer usable, which means that you have FAI. As Stain was about to declare Deku's failure, Deku got back on his feet and began fighting with the broken pieces of his bow staff. Stain was surprised to see him continue fighting with a damaged weapon, but Deku wielded the pieces like batons. Stain struggled to keep up with Deku's relentless attacks and created some distance to think of a strategy. Once he had some distance, Deku threw one of his batons at Stain. As it approached, Stain sliced it in half, but when he looked up, Deku was no longer in front of him. Where did he go? I'm right here. The baton had been a distraction, allowing Deku to close the gap unnoticed. He delivered an upward kick to Stain, hitting him under the chin and sending him into the air, causing him to drop his weapon. As Stain began to fall, Deku seized his sword and rushed over. Once Stain was on the ground, Deku stood above him with the sword pointed at his face. Breathing, I passed. Ah, you should have, my boy. You outsmarted me in my own game, and now you are ready to be a vigilante. Stain got up and looked at Deku with pride in his eyes. So I actually passed? Yes, my boy. Now that you have passed, you will be fighting for justice in your own way. My own way, huh? Yes. I congratulate you once again, Izuku Midoriya. You are my greatest pupil. Stain bowed his head to Deku, showing that he had earned his respect. Thank you, Sensei. I appreciate everything you have done, and I'm glad to have become your pupil. Deku bowed as well, honoring his teacher who dedicated his life to training a quirkless boy like him to be a vigilante. After completing his training with Stain, Deku was finally ready to step out as a vigilante. Before doing so, he needed an outfit to conceal his identity. He rummaged through his closet and found an old black jacket, gray briefs, and a black bandana to cover his mouth. He even found some worn-out sneakers he still had. Packing the clothes into a duffel bag, he proceeded to meet Stain at their training location. Just as he was about to step out the door, his mom called out to him. Izuku, are you going out? Why, yeah, I am. I'll be back later. Okay, be safe. I will. Deku stepped out of his apartment and headed to the train station. On the train, he thought about how he was lying to his mom about what he was truly doing. But he knew he had to keep his training and vigilante work a secret, even from her. If anyone knew what he was doing, it could put those close to him in danger. After finally arriving at the location, he went up to the rooftop to meet Stain. Once on the rooftop, he saw Stain standing at the edge of the building, looking out over the city. Sensei, I'm finally here, Deku said, a hint of excitement in his voice. Good, did you bring something to conceal your identity? Stain replied. Weiss, I did. Deku placed his duffel bag on the ground and revealed the simple clothing he had chosen. This clothing will be good enough, I guess. As long as your face is covered, there won't be any problems, Stain remarked. Right, I'll go change into these clothes right now. Deku went back inside to change, stuffing his original outfit into the duffel bag and securing it in a safe place before returning to the rooftop. All right, I'm ready to go, he announced. I know you're eager to start, but you can't go in without a weapon. Stain moved to the other side of the rooftop and returned with a rectangular case. He placed it on the ledge and opened it, revealing a custom-made bow staff that made Deku's eyes widen. This is your weapon. This is a gift from me for all your hard work. Deku was momentarily speechless, and instead of thanking Stain, he hugged him unexpectedly. Stain embraced the gesture, and Deku then picked up his new bow staff. Now that you have an outfit and a weapon, all that's needed is your name. A name? Deku asked. Yes, you don't want people to know your real name, do you? No, I don't. So what will be my name? The Crow. The Crow. Deku echoed. Yes. After your final test, a crow appeared behind you. At first, I didn't think much of it, but when I saw you leave, that same crow began following you. I haven't seen it since, but now that you're here, I think that's a perfect name for you. The Crow, huh? I like it. Good. Let us begin spreading the name of the Crow. Since they will know the name of the Crow and his heroic motives. I'm hoping so. Now, into the city we go. Stain and Deku jumped from rooftop to rooftop, a lone crow flying after them. After a month, everyone knew about an unknown vigilante named the Crow. He was frequently discussed for stopping criminals that the heroes couldn't catch, and people were curious about his true identity. The only thing they knew was that each time a criminal was stopped, they could hear the call of a crow. In a warehouse, a goon barked, "Come on, hurry up. Load those weapons in those trucks. We need to get out of here now." But you scared the crow might show up? Another goon teased. Not at all. If that guy shows up, I'll blow his head off. That's what everyone says until they're in the back of a cop car. Yeah, whatever. Just keep loading those crates. As the goons continued their work, Deku was inside the warehouse, sneaking above them. He perched on top of a box, moving silently in the shadows. One by one, he took down the armed goons. Noticing that 6 remained by the trucks, he counted 2 armed and 4 unarmed. He reached into his jacket and pulled out a smoke grenade, rolling it toward the armed goons. As the smoke filled the area, Deku dashed in, using his bow staff to take out the armed goons first, then the others. Once they were incapacitated, the smoke began to clear, revealing Deku standing over the unconscious goons. However, he was unaware that someone had him in their sights. "I got you now, you son of a..." A goon was about to pull the trigger when a hand suddenly blocked his view. He turned to see Stain, who swiftly dealt with him. "Crow," Stain said as he approached Deku. "Oh, hi sensei. I didn't expect you to join me." "It's a good thing I did, because you would have been dead where you were standing," Stain replied. "What?" "There was a sniper above, and he had you in his sights, but I took care of him before he could pull the trigger." Thank you, sensei. I guess there's still a lot I need to learn." "Yes, there is. But for now, we should go. The police will be here soon." "Yes, sensei." Deku and Stain exited the warehouse and headed for the rooftops. As they ran, they heard sirens approaching, indicating a successful mission. They continued until they made it back to their base, exhausted but triumphant. Deku said, "I guess we'll call it a night, right, sensei?" "Yes, we will. Now go home and get enough sleep for school tomorrow." "I don't want anyone to catch on that you're the Crow," Stain replied. Thank you again for saving my life." Deku then grabbed his duffel bag and changed into his normal clothes before heading to the train station. The next day, Izuku put on his high school uniform and set off for school. As he walked, he noticed people reading newspapers that mentioned the Crow. The grin spread across his face, knowing he was making a difference in the city. However, he also overheard the news discussing him, so he paused to listen. A newsman reported, "The unknown vigilante named Crow has put a stop to the weapon trafficking that has been occurring recently." A newswoman continued, "In other words, heroes are being hunted by an unknown assailant. Some have been attacked, and others have been brutally killed. If you have seen the murderer or know his identity, notify the police at once. He must be stopped before he hurts anyone else." Deku thought, whoever this murderer is, they need to be brought to justice right away. Maybe Sensei and I can go looking for this hero killer and stop him. Just then he glanced at his watch and realized he was going to be late, so he hurried to school. On his way, he accidentally bumped into someone and fell to the ground. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to," he began to apologize, but when he looked up, he saw it was Bakugo. "Deku," Bakugo said. "Hi, Kaken. It's been a while." "Yeah, it sure has." Deku stood up to continue the conversation. "I see you're wearing a UA uniform." "Yeah, I got in last month. And I see you're going to a normal high school." "Well, it was the only option for me since I can't enroll in UA without a quirk." Just as Bakugo was about to respond, another person in a UA uniform with red spiky hair put his arm over Bakugo's shoulder. "Hey, Bakubro. I didn't expect to see you on the walk to school," Kirishima said. "Dim its shitty hair. How many times have I told you not to touch me?" Bakugo snapped. "Sorry bro. I'm just happy to see ya." "It looks like you're making quite a few friends in UA, Kaken," Deku remarked. "This shitty hair is not my friend." "Oh come on, we're best bros." "Wait a minute, who are you?" Kirishima asked. "I'm Izuka Midoriya, and I was Kaken's old middle school classmate." "Nice to meet you. I'm Ijiro Kirishima, and I'm in the same class as Bakugo." "It's nice to meet you. I would chat more, but I'm running a bit late to school. Goodbye," Deku said as he ran past Bakugo and Kirishima. "See ya. What a nice guy. How come you never told me about him, Bakugo?" Kirishima asked. "There's nothing to say about that nerd. Now could you get the hell off me?" Bakugo shouted. After bumping into Deku, Bakugo thought about how he had been taking care of himself. He also wondered why Deku hadn't tried to enroll in UA, especially since he had noticed Deku changing physically back in middle school. It made him curious about what exactly Deku was training for. "Hey, Bakugo, are you all right?" Kirishima asked. "Yeah, I'm fine." "Good, you looked a bit out of it today." "Whatever, just leave me alone, shitty hair." "Ah, don't be like that bro." Suddenly, the class door opened, and Mina and Denki stepped into the classroom. "Good morning, Class 1A, Denki said. "Morning," Mina added. "Hey, morning you too," Kirishima replied. Denki and Mina approached Bakugo and Kirishima to start a conversation. Bakugo ignored them as usual, but his curiosity was piqued when he heard Denki mention the latest news. "So, did you guys hear what that crow guy did last night?" Denki asked. "Yeah, I heard about it. The news said he stopped some weapon traffickers, right?" Kirishima responded. "Sure did," Denki confirmed. "Man, that guy is so cool. I would love to meet him one day," Kirishima said. "Wow, you guys are really into this vigilante guy, aren't you?" Mina remarked. "Well yeah, he came out of nowhere and started saving people that none of the pro heroes or police could reach in time," Denki explained. "Yeah, he's great," Kirishima added. Bakugo scoffed. "I think he's dumb, going out night after night fighting battles he shouldn't be involved in. Taking down bad guys is the hero's job, not this mystery guy. He should just go back to his normal life and leave the saving to the heroes." "You really think that about him? He's actually a great guy doing so much good around the city," Denki countered. "Yeah, Kaminari's right. Whoever this vigilante is, he must have good intentions," Kirishima said. "These two do have a point," Mina added. "Tisk, whatever, he's nothing but a wannabe," Bakugo said dismissively. As they finished their discussion, Aizawa stepped into the classroom, prompting all the students to get to their desks immediately. "All right everyone, before we get started on today's lesson, I want to talk to you about something serious. It's not a test, it's about the recent news regarding the vigilante known as the Crow. Many of you think he's a hero helping people, but I need to inform you that being a vigilante is against the law. If any of you happen to see this vigilante, I want you to call the authorities." Suddenly, Ida raised his hand to ask a question. "Sir, if the vigilante is caught, what will happen to him?" "That's a good question. If he is caught and turned over to the authorities, he will face a short prison sentence. After serving his time, he will be under constant surveillance. If he attempts to become a vigilante again, he will be permanently imprisoned." After Aizawa finished answering Ida's question, Uraraka raised her hand. "Mr. Aizawa, Isn't there another option for vigilantes that are caught? It's good that you brought that up, Uraraka. There is a second option. They can choose to become heroes. However, most vigilantes who are captured opt for prison instead, often due to their personal motives for becoming vigilantes. After her question, Bakugu raised his hand as well. What if I took down that vigilante myself? What would happen? Well, if a UA student goes after that vigilante, they would be foolish to think they can handle someone who has trained extensively to become a vigilante. It is not wise to confront a vigilante alone. You could end up seriously hurt. Tsu then spoke up. I have one last question. And what is it? Aizawa asked. If any of us encounter this vigilante, what should we do? Do not attempt to attack them. They are capable of inflicting serious injuries. After hearing Aizawa's warning, the rest of the class fell silent. I see that no one has any more questions, which means we can start our lesson. Now everyone, take out your textbooks and turn to page 28. After a long day at UA, Class 1A began to prepare to head home. However, one student, Ochako Uraraka, stayed behind to finish some classwork. Hours passed, and once she finished, she noticed the sun was setting. She packed her work into her bag and headed to the train station. Once on the train, she overheard people discussing the vigilante. This made her wonder about the person willing to break the law to help others. The train stopped at her destination, and as she walked home under the night sky, she remarked, "Wow, it turned to night fast. I better get home quickly." Suddenly, she heard a scream in the distance and ran toward it. Turning a corner into an alleyway, she saw a male figure with a metal staff standing over two unconscious men. The figure noticed her and quickly escaped by jumping to the rooftops. Was that the vigilante everyone has been talking about? She wondered. Noticing a frightened girl in the alley, Uraraka rushed over to comfort her. She took out her phone and called the police. The authorities arrived a few minutes later, took the two unconscious men into custody, and drove the young girl home. Meanwhile, the crow observed from atop a nearby building. In Deku's mind, he thought, it was fortunate that girl called the police. Suddenly, he heard footsteps behind him and turned to see Stain. Oh, Sensei, you're back. Did you finish your task? Yes, and judging by the police down there, it seems you stopped some trouble. Yeah, there were two muggers trying to rob a young girl. I got there in time to stop them. Good. Now let's move. There are more bad people that need to be dealt with. Yes, right away, Sensei. Deku and Stain proceeded to run across the rooftops, managing to stop a few more muggers and a purse snatcher. Afterward, they found no more criminals, signaling it was time to return to their base. It seems tonight was a bit calmer, Stain noted. So, are we calling it a night? Deku asked. Yes, hurry home. Before I change and head home, I want to discuss the hero killer that's been in the news recently. Go after him and try to stop him. Stain turned to face the city, avoiding eye contact with Deku. I'm sorry, but no. This hero killer is able to defeat heroes on his own, so I don't think you will be able to defeat him. But if we work together, I'm sure we can stop him. I said no. Deku was shocked when he heard Stain raise his voice. He walked towards the rooftop door, standing in the entrance. Sensei, do you think I could get a day off next weekend? Why? Next week is the UA Sports Festival, and I was thinking about going. Fine, do what you want. I have some other business to attend to next weekend as well. Thank you, Sensei. I'll see you tomorrow night. Deku changed and headed to the train station to go home. Meanwhile, Stain remained on the rooftop, staring at the city in peace until a crow landed on the ledge. Oh, this whole time you finally show up again. I'm guessing you might know what I've been truly doing. The crow cawed at him before flying away in the direction Deku was heading. Stain watched it go, giving it a menacing glare. He reached into his back pocket, pulled out a notebook and pencil, opened it, and crossed out a name written inside. He turned the page and began to write another name, Tensei Ida, also known as Ingenium. As Deku's weekend began, he got ready for the UA Sports Festival. Once he finished, he went to the front door to put on his shoes, but his mom approached him. Izuku, so you're leaving already? Yeah, I'll be back around the evening. I'll also buy you a souvenir if you like. Deku stood up and turned to his mom. Inko placed her hand on his cheek, smiling at how much he had grown. Mom, is everything okay? Of course, everything's all right. I'm just so surprised to see my baby grow so much. Thanks, Mom. Deku hugged her before heading out. He stepped out of his apartment and headed to the train station. While waiting for his train, he overheard people talking about the hero killer. He had been hearing a lot about the hero killer since last week and wanted to find him before anyone else could get hurt. However, Stain had made it clear he didn't want Deku searching for him. Ever since Stain yelled at Deku about the hero killer, he had been a bit distant. Sensei, I hope we can resolve our issues soon. When the train arrived, Deku boarded. Even during the ride to UA, conversations about the hero killer continued. After the train ride, he headed over to UA, noticing the crowd entering the entrance. Once inside, he followed a large group to where the sports festival was being held. I can't believe I'm finally here. I've always dreamed of seeing the sports festival in person, and now that I'm here, I just know this year's festival will be better than the last. With a few minutes until the festival began, Deku walked around, getting some food from vendors to pass the time. He even managed to meet Mount Lady and take a picture with her. Checking the time on his watch, he saw it was nearly time for the events to start, so he headed straight to the stadium. Once inside, he found a good seat to watch the games. The event started with an obstacle race, and the competition was intense, especially near the end. Bakugo was nearly at the finish line when another student with white and red hair took the lead, winning first place. The announcer revealed the winner was Shoto Todoroki, which surprised Deku. I can't believe it. That Todoroki guy managed to beat Kaken in the obstacle race. Back when we were in school together, he was the fastest runner in our grade. I guess in a hero school, there are students even more amazing than Kaken. After the obstacle race, the second event was the cavalry battle. Teams of 4 were formed, with 3 members carrying one team member who wore a numbered headband that counted as points if stolen. Since Todoroki came in first place in the obstacle race, he had the headband with the most points. As the event began, many students tried to take Todoroki's headband but were thwarted by his ice quirk. In the end, Todoroki managed to keep his headband, while many other students collected enough headbands to move on to the final event. Before the third event started, there was a short break for students and spectators. Deku got up to get a drink from the vending machine. Leaning against the wall to enjoy it, he began thinking about what Stain could be doing right now when he heard a familiar voice. Deku. Oh hey, Kaken. What the hell are you doing here? Well, I came to see the sports festival, of course. It's even more amazing than I imagined. All the students are giving it their all out there, and even you, Kaken. I see you pushing yourself harder than before. Of course. I have to give it my all if I want to win this. I swear I will win because I'm the best. Deku smiled at Bakugo's determination. It was nice chatting with you, but I think I should head back to my seat. I'll be cheering you on. Whatever, Deku. As Deku tossed his empty drink into the trash, he noticed Vanessa and a few other students passing by him on their way to Bakugo. He turned around and smirked, thinking, Kaken, you really are the best, and I'm happy that you are. Deku then made his way back to his seat as the third and final event began. The competition was fierce, but one match ended almost immediately. The winner was a student with purple hair named Shinso, who was said to be part of the general department. Another match followed between him and Todoroki, and to Deku's confusion, Shinso won without even touching them. Finally, it was time for the showdown between Bakugo and Shinso. Just as the fight began, Bakugo turned to walk out of the arena. Deku couldn't just sit back and watch, so he jumped up from his seat and rushed to the edge of the seating area. Kaken! Bakugo paused, his foot hovering at the edge of the ring, and turned to face Shinso. You think you can take over my mind and get away with it? Bakugo growled. Shinso, realizing he was losing his chance to win, looked in Deku's direction. It was him. He must have done something to stop Bakugo from stepping out of the ring. Hey, let's get this over with, Bakugo said, ready to continue. Shinso, knowing he couldn't win, raised his hands. I give up. Bakugo halted, and the teachers declared him the winner of the sports festival, with Shinso in second place and Todoroki in third. As Bakugo stood on the podium, he glanced in the direction where he heard Deku call out to him, thinking, "I can't believe that nerd was the one to actually save me." As the sports festival concluded, Deku walked out of the stadium with a happy expression. However, he felt his phone vibrate in his pocket. Pulling it out, he was shocked to see news that the hero Ingenium had been paralyzed by the hero killer. As he read on, he saw a clear picture of the hero killer's identity. Dropping his phone in disbelief, he whispered, "S-sensei, it was you. It was always you." Determined, Deku rushed to the base to confront Stain. As he approached, memories of their past encounters flooded his mind, realizing he had overlooked the truth about the person he once admired. He arrived at the base just as the sun was setting. "Stain, show yourself." Stain appeared above him, landing smoothly behind Deku. Reacting quickly, Deku turned to deliver a sideways kick, but Stain caught his ankle. "What are you doing here? I thought you asked for the day off?" Stain said, a smirk on his face. Deku glared at him, filled with anger. "I know who you truly are and what you do." "I guess my secret is exposed now," Stain replied, pushing Deku away. "So, what are you going to do about it?" "I'm going to stop you." "Is that so?" "Yeah." "Then bring it on." Deku charged at Stain, launching a series of kicks. Stain effortlessly blocked and dodged each attack. Switching to punches, Deku found the same result. Realizing Stain was merely evading him, he backed away to rethink his strategy. "I beat him before, I know how he fights. But every time I attack, he just blocks or dodges. I need to figure out a way to stop him quickly." "If you're trying to figure out a way to stop me, just give up," Stain taunted. "How did he know?" "I could tell by the look on your face. Trust me, the smart choice is to walk away. But if you continue this, I will end up hurting you. I can't just back down when you're right here in front of me. I will stop you even if it kills me." In the blink of an eye, Stain was right in front of Deku, an intense look in his eyes. "So you're actually willing to give up your own life just to stop me, huh?" Stain taunted, and in an instant he kneed Deku in the stomach, sending him flying across the room. As Deku struggled to pick himself up, he was overwhelmed and ended up throwing up. "Get up," Stain commanded. Deku managed to stand again, getting into his fighting stance. But Stain quickly rushed him, punching him across the face and knocking him to the ground once more. "Get up," Stain repeated. Deku spat out a bit of blood but pushed himself back to his feet. Stain charged at him again, aiming for another punch, but Deku dodged and landed a hit on Stain. However, he quickly realized his punch had no effect. Stain seized Deku's wrist, squeezing tightly, causing him to cry out in pain. When he stopped screaming, he found himself staring into Stain's eyes, filled with fear. "You're pathetic," Stain sneered. He then headbutted Deku, sending him crashing to the ground again. Stain drew his sword, raising it above his head, preparing to strike downwards. As Deku recalled memories of Stain being the only one who believed in him, he felt tears welling up. Without hesitation, Stain plunged the sword down towards Deku's head. In that moment, Deku closed his eyes, accepting his fate. But as the sword neared, he opened his eyes and turned his head to the side, realizing the blade had stopped just beside his face. He looked up at Stain, bewildered. Why didn't you kill me?" Deku asked, trembling. "Because you were a pathetic weakling. You never had a chance against me. Even in our training, I was holding back. I let you win during the final test, and I don't even know why. A weakling like you deserves to die, but I won't do that because my blade doesn't need your blood." Stain sheathed his sword and began to walk away. Deku, gathering his strength, called out, "Wait. What do you want?" Stain replied, turning back. Why are you doing this?" "Because those who call themselves heroes are nothing but fakes. The only true hero is All Might, and he is the only one I would allow to end my life. So let me make this clear. If you dare come after me, I will not hesitate to kill you, even if you are my own student. Now, if you don't mind, I have important matters to attend to." With that, Stain walked away, leaving Deku in tears. "S-sensei," Deku whispered, feeling lost. A few days passed since Deku's fight with Stain. He had avoided going out, staying home after school. He often thought about confronting Stain again, but he knew he couldn't handle him alone. One day, while walking home from school, he caught a glimpse of a news report about Stain and his recent attacks. He looked away but then stopped, turning back and heading to the train station. Once he arrived, he quickly boarded a train, riding it back to the location where Stain had trained him. After getting off, he walked to the base but found it empty. As he wandered, he stumbled upon his duffel bag filled with his gear. Just then his phone vibrated in his pocket. Pulling it out, he saw a news report stating that the city of Hosu was under attack by strange creatures. Realizing that this was the same city where Stain had fought Ingenium, he grabbed his duffel bag and changed into his gear. After suiting up, he headed to the case holding his bow staff and made his way to the rooftop. Once there, he jumped across rooftops to reach the nearest bullet train. He leaped onto the moving train, gripping the railing tightly to avoid falling off. "I'm nearly there. The city of Hosu should be up ahead," Deku thought. As the train approached Hosu, he contemplated how to disembark safely. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from the train car ahead, causing the train to stop abruptly. Deku dashed to the front, jumping down to find a giant creature with its brain exposed. Grabbing his bow staff, he leaped onto its back and lodged the staff into its brain, causing the creature to collapse. Pulling his staff free, he quickly exited the train and jumped onto the nearest rooftop, heading towards the location where he believed Stain might be. As he ran, he noticed two figures standing on a water tower, gazing over the burning city. Shigaraki looked through his binoculars, frustration evident on his face. "Where is that hero killer? I want to see how he handles my Nomus." Kurogiri, scanning the horizon, interrupted, "Tamura, I see something coming from the direction of the train." "What is it?" Shigaraki asked, shifting his gaze. "Over there." Kurogiri pointed, and Shigaraki focused on a figure in a black hoodie, holding something. "Who the hell is that?" Shigaraki questioned. "I do not know," Kurogiri replied. "Well, whoever they are, they're going to die if they try to stop my Nomus." Meanwhile, Deku was sprinting across rooftops, witnessing the chaos of monsters attacking the city. He wanted to help the heroes but knew he had to find Stain before he could harm another hero. Remembering where Stain usually struck, he dashed toward the alleyways. Suddenly, he spotted Stain preparing to execute a hero. Deku quickly grabbed 2 smoke grenades, pulled the pins, and threw them toward Stain. As the red smoke billowed, Stain noticed the disturbance. A bow staff flew from the smoke, and Stain reacted quickly, deflecting it upward. Unbeknownst to him, he had just returned Deku's weapon. Deku seized the opportunity as the staff fell, shouting, "Stain!" Stain looked up just in time to see Deku descending rapidly. With no chance to dodge, Stain raised his left arm to block the attack. The impact fractured his arm, forcing him to retreat as Deku landed safely in front of the hero he was about to kill. "So you actually came after me," Stain said, a mix of surprise and challenge in his. "Of course I did, and this time I will stop you," Deku replied firmly. "We'll see about that." The two charged at each other, exchanging blows. Deku skillfully used his bow staff to attack and defend, while Stain, limited to his right arm due to the injury, fought back with his sword. Nearby, the hero Deku had saved watched the fight unfold. In Ida's mind, he thought, who is that person, and how did they know the hero killer was here? But I need to get back up and defeat him for my brother, or I won't be worthy of the name Ingenium. Struggling to rise, Ida caught Stain's attention. Stain backed away, placing his sword down and throwing a knife at Deku as he charged. Deku dodged, but the knife flew toward Ida, who was still trying to get up. "No, this can't be the end. I must avenge my brother," Ida thought, closing his eyes as he braced for impact. Just as the knife was about to strike, he felt a sudden force. Opening his eyes, he was shocked to see the knife embedded in the back of a hand. Turning his head, he saw the same figure fighting Stain, now saving him once again, though clearly in pain from the knife. "Why did you do that?" Ida asked, bewildered. "Because I'm the Crow, and I'm here to protect those who need saving the most. Right now, saving you is my priority," Deku replied, his voice steady and inspiring. Ida realized this was what a true hero should be, risking their life for others. The crow is the true hero here, he thought. Deku stood up, pulling the knife from his hand and tossing it aside. So you actually saw what I was planning, huh? Stain said, a hint of annoyance in his tone. Yeah, and that was a dirty trick you pulled, Deku shot back. I'll do anything to kill those false heroes. If you choose to protect them, I will not hesitate to kill you as well. You can try all you like, but you won't succeed because I am here. Hearing those 3 words, Stain's eyes widened, and he grinned widely. He charged straight towards Deku, attacking him before Deku could even react. Meanwhile, Ida slowly began to move, turning his head to see that Stain was focused on Deku. Seizing the opportunity, he managed to get back up and revved his engines to assist in the fight. Ida! Recipro burst! In a flash, Ida dashed towards Stain. Stain noticed him too late to react, and Ida kicked him in the stomach, launching him into the air. Deku quickly jumped along the alley walls, positioning himself right above Stain. He raised his bow staff and struck Stain's back, sending him crashing to the ground, unconscious. Deku stood over Stain's motionless body and noticed some rope hanging from a dumpster. He tied Stain up and then picked him up, placing him over his shoulder. Turning to Ida, who was on his knees trying to recover, Deku said, "Thank you." He then picked up Stain's sword from the ground and jumped onto the alley walls, heading straight for the rooftops. "Wait!" Ida called out, but Deku was already gone. After a few minutes, Stain regained consciousness and realized he was tied up on a rooftop. He looked ahead and saw Deku sitting in front of a row of his knives, holding Stain's sword. "So what now?" Stain asked. "I turn you in, of course," Deku replied. "Huh, you really are stupid, but I guess that's why I trained you. Go ahead, turn me in, but remember, I am the one who trained you, and I will always be your sensei." "I know that, but this ends here." Deku walked towards Stain to lift him again and take him to the heroes, but as he approached, Stain discreetly pulled out a knife hidden in his sleeve. Suddenly, a large monster jumped onto the rooftop in front of Deku, attacking him head-on. Deku dodged the strikes, knowing he needed to damage the monster's brain. As it swung down with its fist, Deku dodged and ran up its arm, aiming to stab its brain with Stain's sword. Just as he was about to strike, the monster grabbed his arm, tightening its grip. Deku realized he couldn't defeat it alone. Looking up, he saw Stain in the air behind the monster, knife in hand. Stain stabbed the monster's brain, causing it to drop Deku. "Get out of here. I'll hold it off," Stain shouted. But Deku started. "Just go," Stain insisted. But as he spoke, the monster reached back and grabbed Stain, throwing him to the ground, causing him to spit up blood. The monster then unleashed a barrage of punches towards Stain, but it stopped when Deku lodged Stain's sword into its brain, causing it to fall over and die. Deku rushed to Stain, who was barely hanging on. "Sensei," Deku said, concern in his voice. "This is Izuku," Stain replied weakly. "Yes, Sensei? I wanted to teach you a special technique that will make you win any fight against anyone." "What is it?" Deku asked. "Come closer and I'll tell you." Deku leaned in as Stain whispered the technique to him. After hearing it, Deku was shocked by its potential. "Once you master this technique, it will belong to you, and you will be greater than I," Stain said before taking his last breath. "D-sensei? Sensei? Sensei!" Deku cried, holding the one person who believed in him and had been like a father figure. In the distance, the leader of the League of Villains watched the entire scene unfold. A week passed since the attack on Hosu and the death of the hero killer. Everyone was talking about Stain, but Deku avoided all discussions about him. He hadn't been the crow since Stain's death and hadn't trained at all that week. Instead, he kept to himself, coming home after school and retreating to his room. As Deku lay on his bed, he heard a knock at the door and his mom's voice calling out to him. "Izuku, I've noticed that you have been very upset this past week, and I don't know the reason why because you won't talk to me. I'm here for you, Izuku, and if there's something going wrong, just talk to me." As Inko stood outside Deku's door, she suddenly heard it open. Deku stood in the doorway with a smile on his face, and without hesitation, he hugged his mom. "Thank you, Ma. I appreciate everything you do for me, but you don't have to worry about me. I'm perfectly fine. I'm just stressed out from all this school, I swear." "Are you sure, sweetie? Because if there's something causing you trouble, you know that I'm here to listen." "I know, Mom, but like I said, I'm just fine, so you don't have to worry so much, okay?" "Okay, if you say so." Deku then let go of his mom and noticed her smiling at him. "Dinner will be ready soon, okay?" "Okay, Mom, thanks again." After that, Inko went back to the kitchen to finish cooking, and Deku returned to his room. He sat down on his bed, feeling the same sadness he had before opening the door to his mom. He knew he couldn't tell her the truth about being a vigilante and being trained by the infamous hero killer, so he lied to spare her worry. A few minutes later, Inko finished preparing dinner, and they sat down at the dining table to eat. They talked about their week, and once they finished dinner, Deku and Inko went to their respective rooms to sleep. As Deku slept, he dreamed about Stain, recalling the memories of his training. "Come on, get up, we're just getting started." "Why, sensei?" Deku found the combat training to be the toughest yet most enjoyable experience. After the training, Stain would sit beside him. "You're getting a lot better these days." "Thank you, sensei." "Answer me this, Midoriya. Why did you want to become a hero?" "Because I wanted to save those who needed it most, with a smile on my face, just like All Might. But it seems I couldn't be like him because you really do need to quit to be like him. All Might is truly a great hero, but he was wrong about you. You can be great as well, I just know it." "You really think so, sensei?" "I know so. You are truly worthy to be called a hero, Midoriya." "Thank you." Deku opened his eyes and sat up in bed, raising his left hand into a fist. "Sensei, I can never forgive you for what you've done to those heroes, but I will always respect you for believing in me." Deku got up, changed into different clothes, and left his apartment without waking his mom. He headed to the train station and boarded the first train that arrived, riding it to the location of the base. Once the train stopped, he quickly got off and made his way to the base. Inside the empty room, he saw Stain's mask and swords, along with his bow staff and duffel bag filled with clothes. After changing, he looked up at the mask and swords and bowed his head. "I'm off, sensei." Deku grabbed his bow staff and left the room, heading up to the rooftop. Once on the roof, he looked over the city he would protect from the shadows. As he prepared to leap into the city, he heard wings flapping. Looking up, he saw a crow flying above him, heading straight for the city, which made Deku smile. "All right, let's do this." Deku jumped across the rooftops, following the crow deep into the city. A few weeks passed since Deku returned to the streets as the crow. Each night, he captured criminals and left them for the police. While some officers and heroes began to see him as an ally, others viewed him as a threat. Deku noticed the news coverage but paid it no mind, continuing to do what he was trained to do, fighting in the shadows as Stain had taught him. On a rooftop, Deku looked over the city. It's another cool night again, but that doesn't mean there won't be any crime tonight. Minutes later, he heard a woman cry for help and ran toward the sound. He arrived just in time to see two thugs cornering a woman in an alley. He jumped down behind them, pulling out his bow staff. "That's enough, you two." The thugs turned around, but instead of preparing to fight, they reached into their jackets and pulled out guns. "Freeze! Don't move a muscle, or else we'll shoot." At that moment, Deku realized this was a trap set by the police. "Wait, I'm on your side," he shouted. "No, you're not. You're a criminal. Being a vigilante is illegal, so I suggest you get on your knees with your hands behind your head." Deku ignored the officer's orders and quickly began to formulate an escape plan. He reached into his jacket, pulled out a smoke grenade, and threw it towards the officers. One of the cops shot the grenade, releasing a cloud of red smoke that obscured their vision. As the smoke filled the alley, Deku jumped from wall to wall until he reached the rooftop. "The vigilante has gone up to the rooftop," one officer coughed. "Copy that," another responded. As Deku sprinted across the rooftops to evade the police, he heard the sound of a helicopter approaching. "Oh no," he muttered, picking up speed to outrun it. The helicopter kept pace, shining a spotlight on him to ensure they wouldn't lose him. Desperate to shake it off, Deku spotted a gap between buildings but pressed on, determined to jump to the other side. He gathered momentum and leaped, but just as he soared through the air, he heard a bang and felt a sharp pain in his shoulder. He fell into the alleyway between the buildings. "I got the target," an officer reported. "Good, I'll find a safe spot to land," the pilot replied. Deku landed in a pile of garbage, the bullet wound in his shoulder, throbbing painfully. "Minute, I have to get up and get out of here now, or else they'll get me." He struggled to lift himself out of the trash and leaned against the alley wall, each step forward causing blood to seep from his wound. "I need to keep moving. I can't let them catch me," he whispered, his vision starting to blur as he spotted the alley's exit. "I'm almost there." As he took a few more steps, he lost his balance and fell to the ground. Just then, he caught a glimpse of a figure walking past the alley. "Help! Me!" he managed to call out. The figure turned, rushing over to him. "Oh my gosh, are you all right?" They noticed the bullet wound on Deku's shoulder. "You've been shot, and judging by the size of the wound, it must be from a rifle." Suddenly, they heard sirens approaching. Knowing they shouldn't get involved, the person leaned down closer to Deku. "Help! Me!" he repeated. Unable to leave him, the person draped Deku's arm over their shoulder and began to carry him away. They picked up his bow staff as they left, moving quickly to avoid the incoming police. Minutes later, the police arrived at the scene but found no trace of Deku. He and his rescuer were already far away, nearing the apartment complex where they lived. "I'm going to patch you up, then see what else I can do for you," the person said, noticing Deku's gear. "You might need some of my supplies to help you out." After being carried to the apartment, Deku slowly opened his eyes. He looked around, noticing he was in a dimly lit room. As he tried to sit up, pain shot through his shoulder. He glanced at the bandages covering the wound. "What happened to me after I blacked out?" he wondered, trying to recall the events of the previous night. He remembered calling out for help and realized that the person who saved him must know his true identity, which made him uneasy. Determined, he managed to sit up and swung his legs over the edge of the bed, but as he stood, he stumbled and fell to the ground with a loud thump. Hearing footsteps approaching from outside the door, he grabbed a wrench lying nearby for protection. As the doorknob turned, Deku prepared himself, ready to defend against whatever was coming through the door. "Hey, are you Awa?" The wrench that Deku threw ended up hitting someone in the face, causing them to fall over. Deku rushed over and saw that it was a girl, which made him panic for accidentally hitting her. "I'm so sorry. Are you still alive?" Deku leaned in closer and noticed her mumbling something. "Come down, my babies, I'll get to you in a minute." "Oh, thank goodness she's all right. I'd better get out of here before she wakes up." As Deku tried to get back on his feet, the girl he had knocked out recovered quickly and sat right up, startling him. "Oh hey, you are awake. What should I do?" "She's awake, and I bet she has tons of questions about me." As Deku was trying to think of something, the girl asked a question he did not expect. "So, you want breakfast?" "Why, yeah, sure." The girl helped Deku up, placing his arm over her shoulder, and they moved toward the kitchen. Once there, she sat him on a stool and started making breakfast. As Deku sat down, he began to wonder who this girl was and why she was making him breakfast after he accidentally threw a wrench at her. Excuse me, can you tell me who you are?" "Oh, how rude of me. My name is Mei Hatsum, and you're in my place." "Oh, I see. It's nice to meet you, Mei Hatsum. What about you? What's your name?" "It's Izuku Midoriya." "Oh, Izuku Midoriya, huh? Well, I only have one question for you, Midoriya." "Oh no, is she going to ask about last night? Do you prefer coffee or tea?" "Tea. Sorry, I only have coffee." "Then why did she ask?" After a couple of minutes, Mei presented Deku with a plate of eggs and bacon, along with a coffee on the side. "Bon appetit." "Tea, thank you." "You're welcome. Now make sure you eat all that food. You need to get your strength back." "All right." As Deku began eating and drinking his coffee, Mei turned on the TV, which was playing the news. "Hey look, they're talking about you." Hearing that, Deku ended up spitting out his coffee. He turned to the TV and saw that the news was reporting on what happened to him last night. Wow, it looks like you're the talk of the town now. Deku turned his head toward Mei, shocked that she knew about him. You know who I am? Yeah, I do. You're that crow guy everyone's been talking about, and I did not expect to run into someone like you. I see. Deku looked down at his lap, feeling worried, but Mei noticed and placed her hand on his shoulder. Hey, you don't have to worry about a thing because I don't plan on telling anyone about your secret. Really? Yeah, you bet. And I don't think you're that bad of a guy. Thank you. Don't worry about it. Plus, I think I can help you. What do you mean, help me? Well, I can explain, but I could show you. Deku was a bit confused, but once he finished his breakfast, she took him to another room. When Mei opened the door, Deku saw tons of inventions scattered on the floor and blueprints hanging on the walls and ceilings. Tada! Welcome to my home workshop. Wow, you made all these? I sure did, but these don't compare to the ones I've built in school. Wait, you're telling me you build more inventions in your school? Yup, I sure do. As Deku began to look closer, he remembered that she was at the UA Sports Festival. Wait, you go to UA, right? Yeah, I do. The inventions I have there are way stronger than the stuff I made here, but we're not here to talk about those. We're here to talk about your outfit. My outfit? Yeah, I noticed that your outfit was a bit worn, so while you were recovering, I was in here making your outfit better than you can expect. Wait, before you continue, did you undress me? Yeah, I did. How else was I supposed to patch you up? Oh, I see. Deku's face turned red from hearing that he was undressed by a girl. Well, now that we got that out of the way, I can finally show you your new and improved outfit. Mei went over to a metal cabinet and opened it to reveal Deku's new outfit. You can see that I changed the hoodie and the breathes as well. The fabric is fireproof, waterproof, and acid-proof. But that's just the half of it. Since you were shot in the shoulder, I added some bulletproof padding inside the fabric. Wow, so you did all this last night? I sure did. But that's just the hoodie and breathes. I even changed your shoes and gloves. With your gloves and boots, I added retractable hooks to help you climb buildings. And with your boots, the more you run, the more energy you collect to increase your jump. Once it's fully charged, you can even jump as high as the building you fell from. That's really amazing, Hatsum. I know, right? But I'm not done yet. I even changed your mask. Since your mask was an old ragged bandana, I turned it into a high-tech mouth cover that also functions as a gas mask. That sounds really useful, Hatsum. It sure is. But I have one final thing that you might really like. Mei then grabbed Deku's bow staff from the locker, placed both hands on the middle, twisted it in opposite directions, and pulled them apart. To Deku's shock, the two pieces of the bow staff began showing sparks at the ends. Mei smiled as she explained, I modified your bow staff into electric batons. When they're pulled apart, the electricity will activate, but once they're reassembled, they'll return to being a regular bow staff. Deku's eyes widened. Wow, you really did all this for me? I don't know how to repay you. Mei grinned mischievously. Oh, I know how you could repay me. Deku looked puzzled. How? I want to be your partner, she declared. Deku blinked in surprise. Wait, what? Mei clarified, not a partner for fighting villains, but someone who helps you with information, repairs, and upgrades. So, what do you say, Izuku Midoriya? Can I be your partner? Deku thought deeply about her offer, recalling how she had helped him the previous night. You saved me back there, so I have to agree to your offer. Great. Now put it there, partner. Mei extended her right hand, and Deku shook it, officially declaring their partnership. With a new partner to assist him with modifications and gadgets, Deku felt a surge of excitement. The following weekend, they met at the train station early in the morning, where Mei eagerly carried a giant backpack filled with gadgets. Ready to go? She asked. Deku hesitated. Why, yeah, but are you sure you should take all that stuff? Of course. They're my babies, so where I go, they go too. Okay then. Mei added, and if you're worried about your new outfit and bow staff, they're not in this bag. Then where are they? Deku asked. They're in a case over there on that bench, she pointed out. Deku walked over to the bench and picked up the case, noticing a 0 on it. What's this 0 mean? Oh, nothing at all. It's just an old UA case used for hero outfits, May explained. The train arrived, and they boarded, relieved to find they were the only passengers. So, where are we headed? May asked. To the base where I usually train and keep my equipment, Deku replied. Ooh, so we're going to your secret lair, she exclaimed. Something like that? He chuckled. Once they arrived at the base, Deku led May inside. Well, here we are, he said. This is it? May asked, her eyes lighting up. Why yeah, I know it's not the best but… This place is great, she interrupted. It's wide open and perfect for testing out new gadgets without anyone knowing. Deku nodded. Do you think we should test out the new outfit and my bow staff? Of course. May encouraged. Okay, let me change, he said, heading to the room where he usually suited up. Inside, he noticed Stain's swords and masks still hanging on the wall. Hello, sensei, he murmured, bowing his head respectfully before opening the case and changing into his new outfit. It felt different from what he was used to. Once dressed, he connected the 2 pieces of his bow staff and left the room to join May. When he returned, he found May surrounded by her scattered equipment. Handsome, he said, unsure. Oh hey, you're back. I see that outfit I made fits you well, she said, beaming. Yeah, it does, and it's quite comfy, he replied. Good to hear. Want to give it a little test drive? She asked. Definitely. Let's start with something simple. Run straight towards that wall and jump as high as you can. If you're going to hit it, make sure to touch it with your palms first. KK, Deku said, placing his bow staff down and running towards the wall. As he approached, he bent his knees and leaped into the air. He reached out with his left hand, touching the wall with his fingertips, activating the hooks in his glove. To his surprise, he found himself hanging in midair, looking down in shock. They work! Deku watched as May jumped for joy, thrilled that her inventions were working on their first attempt. Handsome, how do I get down? He called out, feeling a bit panicked. Oh, just remove your fingertips from the wall. May instructed. As soon as Deku did, the hooks in his gloves reattracted, and he suddenly realized how high up he was. He started to fall straight toward the ground. Oh snap, May exclaimed. She quickly searched for something to prevent his fall and spotted a small robotic bird. This will do. Grabbed a headset connected to the bird and flew it toward Deku. Just as he was about to hit the ground, the tiny bird managed to grab his hoodie and lift him safely. That was a close one, May said, guiding the bird to set Deku down gently. He walked over to her, relief evident on his face. Thanks for catching me, handsome. No problem, but the thanks goes to my little baby, Canary. The robotic bird landed on May's shoulder. Oh, then thank you as well, little Canary. Okay, thanks aside, do you want to keep testing out more of my inventions? May asked eagerly. Yeah, I sure do. Great, because we're just getting started. Deku and May continued testing her inventions and his new outfit until the afternoon. They took a short break to enjoy some food May had prepared. As they ate together, May asked a serious question. So, why did you want to be a vigilante? Deku paused, placing his chopsticks down and taking a deep breath. Well, to answer your question, I really never wanted to be a vigilante. Really? Then what did you want to be? I actually wanted to be a pro hero and attend UA. Why didn't you? Because I am quirkless. Hold on a minute, so you're telling me that you have no quirk at all? Why yes, I really don't have a quirk. Interesting. How is that interesting? Deku asked, puzzled. Well, a lot of my inventions are built for people with quirks, which means I have to work twice as hard to create new ones that will give you an advantage. So you're going to work that hard for me? Yeah, I am your partner after all. Deku smiled, feeling grateful for May's dedication. I appreciate it very much, handsome. I'm glad you're my partner. Haha, and I appreciate you giving my inventions a little test run. You're welcome, I guess. After finishing their meal, they continued testing until evening. Deku lay on the ground, breathing heavily, when May looked down at him. So, Do you think you can test out some more of my inventions? I'm sorry, Handsome, I don't think I can. Ah, that's too bad. I was hoping this would last until midnight, but I think we can stop here for now. You did a great job today. Thanks. Now let's pack up and go get some dinner. Wait, did you just say dinner? Yeah, I did. Oh snap, I forgot. Deku quickly got up and ran toward the room where he had his clothes. Hey, what did you forget? Mei called after him. Deku returned wearing the clothes he had on that morning, but as he ran, Mei grabbed his arm to stop him. Hey, are you going to tell me what you forgot? Or are you just going to storm out of here without helping me pack up my inventions? Well, you see, I was supposed to help my mom prepare dinner, and I must have lost track of time, so I don't think I can help you pack. So you're just going to leave me with my inventions to help your mom prepare dinner? Weiss, I'm really sorry about this, Handsome. Do you mind if I tag along? What? Why? Well, my parents don't live with me, so I don't usually have homemade dinners waiting for me. I was just wondering if I could join you. Yeah, sure, you can tag along, but what about your inventions? I'll just quickly pack them up and leave them here for the night. Oh, okay then. I'll help you pack them up so we'll finish faster. Great, let's hurry up. Deku and Mei quickly packed up all of her inventions. Once they finished, Deku carried the bag filled with gadgets to the room where he changed. They made it to the train station just in time to catch a train. After an hour-long ride, they arrived at the apartment complex where Deku lived. As they stepped inside, Inko came out of the kitchen and noticed her son standing next to a young girl. Welcome home, Izuku. Hi Mom, I'm sorry that I'm late. Oh, it's fine, Izuku, but who is that girl standing next to you? As Deku was about to introduce Mei to his mom, she stepped in front of him. I am Mei Handsome, and I'm a new friend of Midoriya. Oh, it's a pleasure to meet you, Handsome. Will you be joining us for dinner? Yes, she will. Oh, that's great. Let me set up a seat for you. Thank you, Miss Midoriya, and might I say it smells great in here. Thank you. As Mei was about to go inside the dining room, Deku grabbed her arm and pulled her back. Hey, what was that for? Listen, my mom doesn't know that I'm a vigilante, so let's keep that a secret between us, okay? Oh, I see. You have nothing to worry about. My lips are sealed. Thank you. Deku and Mei then went inside and sat down at the dining table. A few minutes later, dinner was served, and the three of them enjoyed the meal that Inko and Deku had prepared. While they were eating, Inko began mentioning the relationship between Deku and Mei. They told her they were just friends and completely avoided anything related to Deku being a vigilante. After finishing dinner, Deku and Mei proceeded to the train station so she could go home. That dinner was so delicious. I'm glad you liked it. Midoriya, I have another question for you. Oh, go right ahead. What do you plan on doing with the outfit and equipment I gave you? Well, I plan to search for the League of Villains. What? Why? It was the League of Villains that was responsible for the attack on House, and they're the ones behind the death of my sensei. I plan to use that outfit and the equipment to bring them to justice. I see. Then I guess you're going to need a little more help than I thought. What do you mean? Well, I was thinking that since you are known as the Crow, maybe I should have a code name too. What do you have in mind? How about the Canary? The Canary, huh? I like it. I knew you would. Now, when do we get started? Tomorrow night. After a few days, Deku returned to the streets as the Crow, equipped with a new outfit and upgraded gear. The police had been patrolling, searching for him every night, which he should have worried about, but luckily he had eyes in the sky watching over him. While Deku was out on the streets, Mei was at their base controlling her robotic canary to watch over him and feed him information about criminals in the area through an earpiece she had given him. Canary, do you have any further information about the criminal we are locating? Oh, I sure do, and it looks like he's in the area at the moment. Where? He's 5 blocks ahead of you, staying inside a small hotel. Okay, thanks. Anytime. Now go get them, Tiger. How alright I will. Over and out. Deku then ran across the rooftops until he reached a building across from the hotel where Mei had indicated the criminal was located. He pulled out binoculars that May had made for him and began to observe the hotel. He noticed one room still had its lights on, and as he zoomed in, he saw the criminal he had been tracking. There you are. Deku observed the criminal working on something and zoomed in further, realizing it was a homemade bomb. Canary, are you seeing this? I sure am. Do you think you can get close to his window and listen to what he's doing? I can, and I can even connect you to listen as well. All right, do it. May flew her canary close to the window and perched it on an AC unit connected to the window. Once in place, she connected Deku's earpiece, allowing them both to listen in on the criminal's room. Those DMN heroes are going to pay for what they did to me. Once I finish making this bomb, I'll send it to that stupid agency they're working for, and when they open it, they're going to get one hell of a surprise. Deku were shocked to hear his plan against the heroes. This guy's insane. Yeah, he is, but I'll put an end to it. Deku put his binoculars away, reached for his grappling hook, aimed it above the hotel's rooftop, and shot it. Once the hook landed, he retracted it until it hit the ledge of the rooftop. He then ran off the rooftop he was on and swung straight toward the criminal's window, bursting through it. The criminal jumped out of his chair, shocked to see him. Who are you? I'm the Crow and I'm here to put you to justice. Go, good luck with that. Suddenly, a scorpion tail burst from behind the criminal and struck at Deku. As the tip of the tail headed straight towards him, Deku pulled out his poster and managed to hit it upwards. Stop this right now and no one will get hurt. Shut up. The criminal began to strike even faster with his scorpion tail, but Deku managed to deflect all of his attacks with his bow staff. After deflecting for a while, Deku finally found an opening, rushed towards the criminal, and such to his shock batons. He landed a strike on the criminal's chest, sending jolts of electricity through his body until he fell unconscious. After the fight, Deku pulled out some thick wire and began to tie up the criminal. Once that was done, May contacted the police to head to the hotel. After finishing, Deku grabbed his grappling hook hanging from the window and launched himself upwards to the rooftops. As he ran away from the hotel, he caught May's voice. Good work back there. Thanks. Hey Midoriya, I have some valuable information that might involve the League of Villains. What do you know? While testing my new canary, I overheard two people talking about a bar that doesn't allow anyone in. Do you think that bar could have anything to do with the League of Villains? Perhaps, but I have no clue. What do you think we should do? We'll check it out to see if there's anything suspicious. All right, so will this be another night mission? No, we'll do this in the daytime. The League of Villains won't be expecting that. Okay. With a location in mind where the League of Villains could be hiding, Deku was getting closer to avenging his sensei. Knowing the location, Deku went alone to investigate. Even though May wasn't there in person, she was watching over him with her robotic canary and communicating through his earpiece while she was at the base. As the train stopped at the location May had mentioned, Deku got off and began to walk around, searching for the bar. How are you doing down there, Midoriya? I'm fine, how about you? Well, I kind of want a hot cup of coffee right now, but besides that, I'm doing pretty good. Ah, that's good to hear. Was that all you wanted to say? Yeah, I just wanted to check up on you, see if you were doing all right. I'm glad you worry about me, but like I said earlier, I'm fine. Okay, if you say so. I'm going to fly ahead with the canary to see if I can find the bar. Okay then. Over and out. As May ended the call and flew ahead, Deku was left alone with his thoughts. Hatsum, you're really a big help, but I can't tell you what I'm going through right now. Once I locate the League's hideout, I will put an end to their plans and avenge my sensei. As he walked around, he finally located the bar when he turned the corner onto a street. The building looked ordinary, but that didn't calm his suspicion. He crossed the street and headed through the alleyway, then contacted May. Hatsum, I found the bar. Great, heading to you now. A minute later, May's canary flew through the alleyway where Deku was waiting. The canary grabbed onto the back of Deku's shirt and flew him up to the rooftop of the bar. Once on the roof, he looked around for a way in but saw nothing. Damn it, there's no way inside. How about that vent over there? May suggested, flying her canary towards it. Deku went over and began to unscrew the bolts on the vent hatch. Once he finished, he realized the vent was too small for him. I don't think I can fit through there. You may not fit, but my canary could. But I want to see what's going on in there. Don't worry, I'll connect the canary's eye to your phone so you can see. All right, fine. May quickly connected Deku's phone to one of the canary's eyes. Once that was done, she flew the canary into the vent. It didn't take long for it to reach a vent's hatch. May landed on the vent's floor and looked through the hatch, allowing Deku to finally see the League of Villains. There they are. Deku was shocked to see 6 members of the League inside, discussing something. Is this really everyone? Shigaraki asked. No, not exactly. There are a few others willing to join, but they're having trouble moving around right now, Jiren replied. By the way, where the hell is Toga? Shigaraki continued. She walked out and said she wanted to do something, Dabi answered. Do you know what that something was? Hell if I know. Well, the ones that are here will have to inform the others about the plan. All right. We gained some valuable information about the students of UA, and it seems the hero course is going to a location in the mountains to train. What do you want us to do there? Dabi asked. I want you to kidnap Katsuki Bakugo and eliminate anyone that tries to stop you. All right then. Deku was shocked to hear Shigaraki's plan, especially the part about kidnapping Bakugo. Just then he noticed someone at the bar staring at the vent. Kurogiri, what's the matter? Shigaraki asked. I have a feeling that we're being watched, Kurogiri replied, lifting his right arm to point at the vent where Mei's canary was observing them. If we're being watched, then take care of it, Shigaraki instructed. As you wish. Kurogiri's arm extended toward the vent, but Mei quickly flew her canary away. Kurogiri followed, and soon the canary emerged from the vent, grabbing onto the back of Deku's shirt and carrying him off the rooftop. Once his feet touched the ground, Deku began running away from the bar as fast as he could. After gaining some distance, he ducked into an alleyway to catch his breath. Midoriya, are you all right? Mei asked. Why, I'm good, but the League and their plan. Deku replied, concern evident in his voice. Yeah, I know. But what are we going to do about it? Mei pressed. We're going to stop them, Deku declared. All right then, come back to the base, and we'll talk about what our plan should be. Okay, over now. Deku stepped out of the alleyway and headed toward the train station, but he couldn't shake the feeling of being followed. Changing direction, he entered another alley and hid inside a dumpster. As he crouched there, he heard humming approaching. Suddenly it stopped. Where did he go? Maybe he went deeper into the alley. I can't let someone that cute get away from me, a voice mused. As the person walked past him, Deku cautiously raised the lid of the dumpster and peeked out. Not seeing anyone, he stepped out, but just then, a knife flew toward his back. At the last moment, Mei's canary swooped down and took the hit instead, sparking on the ground. Deku turned to see a girl in a school uniform. Who are you? He asked. I'm Himiko Toga, she replied, a mischievous smile spreading across her face. It seems that little birdie got in my way, but that doesn't matter because I won't miss this time. A knife slipped from Toga's sleeve, and she threw it at Deku. He turned sideways, catching the knife and throwing it. But Toga bent backward, watching the knife fly past her with a grin. But when she looked up, Deku and the canary were gone. Oh, he ran away, right when I thought we were going to have lots of fun together. No matter, I have a feeling we might meet again, she said with a giggle. After learning the plans of the League of Villains and confronting Toga, Deku and Mei began to form a strategy to address the threat. Since Mei attended UA, she knew when the Hero Corps students would head to the mountains for their training, which was crucial information. They had ample time to prepare for their mission. A few days later, the Hero Corps students left UA for the mountains, and so did Deku and Mei. They woke up early and boarded a bus heading to the same location. Before leaving, Deku told his mom he was going to the mountains with friends, which made her happy. She stayed up late preparing meals for him and his companions. During the bus ride, Deku grew impatient. This bus needs to go faster. If we don't arrive in time, the League will likely put their plan into action, he thought, staring out the window. Suddenly, he felt something poking his cheek. Turning, he saw Mei with a piece of candy. You want a piece? She asked. Why, sure, he replied. May placed the candy in his hand, and he unwrapped it and popped it into his mouth. Good, right? She asked. Yeah, they're really good, thanks, Deku said, smiling at her. No problem. It looks like you needed something sweet right now. After a few hours, they finally arrived at their destination. They got off the bus, grabbed their bags, and noticed they were quite far from where the Hero Corps students were camping, which was advantageous for them. They headed into the forest to find a suitable spot for their camp. After a few minutes of walking, they discovered the perfect area overlooking the forest and the students' campsite. They quickly set up their camp just as the sun began to set and settled down near a campfire that Deku had made. Deku, we're all done. Now all we need to do is start the campfire, May said with excitement. Oh, I can take care of that. She ran to her bag filled with her gadgets and pulled out a device that resembled a laser pointer. Aiming it at the campfire, she pressed the button, and to Deku's surprise, it shot out giant flames. She lifted her finger from the button and blew away the smoke that wafted from her invention. Wow, you really have a lot of interesting gadgets, don't you? Deku remarked, impressed. I sure do, and I have even more for you to see. May replied enthusiastically. Haha, I can't wait to see them, Deku said as they both settled down near the campfire to enjoy the food that Inko had prepared for their trip. This food is so good. Your mom is such an amazing cook, Midoriya, May complimented. Yeah, I know. I'm really glad to have her in my life, Deku replied, a smile on his face. Hey, Midoriya, if you don't mind me asking, what was the hero killer like? May inquired, her tone turning serious. Oh, Sensei was a good teacher. He could be strict sometimes, but I respect him for that, Deku answered thoughtfully. Even with what he did to those heroes? May pressed gently. I could never forgive him for that, but he was the only one who believed in me. If it wasn't for him convincing me to be a vigilante, I don't know where I would be. He was a murderer, but he was also a father figure to me, and I will always treasure the moments we had together, Deku explained, his voice filled with emotion. Such a strong bond between a teacher and a student. It might even bring me to tears, May said, her eyes glistening. Deku laughed at her comment, and soon they were both sharing a light moment. After finishing their meal, they headed to their tents to sleep. However, as Deku and May retired for the night, the League of Villains was being transported nearby by Kurogiri's quirk. A few days passed with no incidents, but Deku and May remained vigilant. During their downtime, Deku tested out some of May's latest inventions, including a mask that could detect heat signatures and had night vision, perfect for their current surroundings. May had also upgraded her canary to be more effective in both air and ground support. As night fell, they sat around the campfire, enjoying each other's company. Afterward, Deku went to his tent to sleep while May took to the skies with her canary, testing out its new features. As she flew, she spotted smoke rising from the trees, piquing her curiosity. She descended through the branches and perched her canary on a limb, where she saw Dobby igniting fires among the trees. Oh snap, that's that strange-looking guy I saw at the bar filled with villains, May whispered to herself. She quickly made her way to Deku's tent and unzipped it, gently shaking him awake. Hey Midoriya, wake up, she urged. Deku stirred, rubbing his eyes. What's the matter, handsome? It's those villains. They're here, May exclaimed. What? Deku replied, alarmed. Don't just say, get up and get ready, she insisted. Okay, he stammered. May stepped outside to give him space to change into his outfit. As he prepared, she flew through the forest with the canary, searching for more villains. She spotted a few making their way toward the students and pro-heroes. Deku emerged from his tent, now equipped with the new gear May had made for him. All right, I'm ready. Where are they? He asked. May pointed in the direction she had seen the villains, but when they looked, they saw blue flames and thick smoke rising from that area. Oh no, May gasped. They've already put their plan into action, Deku said, determination in his voice. Then we'll put our plan into action as well. Get out there, Midoriya. Show those villains they shouldn't mess with the crow. May encouraged. Right. I'll count on you to watch my back. If you see anyone in danger, let me know right away, Deku instructed. You got it. Now go. Mei urged. Deku jumped off the cliff overlooking the area. As he fell, he activated hooks from his glove to slide down safely to the ground. Don't worry, Kaken, I won't let them take you, he vowed as he landed. As Deku ran through the forest, Mei flew above, keeping an eye out for any villains. Suddenly, she heard a scream. Turning toward the sound, she zoomed in with the canary's eyes and spotted a large man in a cloak. But what caught her attention was a little boy looking up at him in fear. Hey Midoriya, do you copy? Mei called out. Yeah, I'm here. What's going on? Deku replied. Well, I just saw a big guy and a little kid on the side of a mountain. What? Could that big guy be part of the League of Villains? Deku asked, alarmed. I don't know, but you should get there quickly before anything bad happens to that kid. I'll fly ahead and try to distract that guy from the kid. Okay, be careful. I will. Mei quickly flew towards the location she had spotted, and as she got closer, she saw the big man ready to punch the kid. Just as he was about to strike, Mei's canary shot out 2 cables from the side of its head, attaching themselves to his arm. She pressed a button on her controls, sending electricity through the cables, which stopped the villain from hitting the child. However, the villain suddenly grabbed the cables with his left hand and yanked them out. Mei quickly detached the cables from the canary. What the hell is this? Muscular exclaimed, looking around for the source of the attack but not seeing anyone since Mei was flying. The canary above him. Show yourself or else I'll harm this kid. Muscular threatened. At first, Mei thought he was bluffing, but when he picked up the child by his throat and began squeezing, she quickly reacted. She flew straight down towards him, circling around Muscular and pecking at him, causing him to release the kid. What the hell, a bird? Muscular shouted, trying to swat the canary away. But with Mei in control, he couldn't hit it while it was in the air. Huh, this guy can't even lay a finger on a single feather. Mei taunted. But then Muscular managed to grab the canary in his bare hands, shocking Mei. She struggled to break free from his grip, but it was too strong. As he held the canary, he realized it wasn't an ordinary bird. What the hell? This bird isn't real, he said. Well, whatever. I can just crush this thing. Muscular's grip tightened around the canary, but Mei had a trick up her sleeve. She pressed a button that made the canary's beak open and shoot out a large beam of light towards his eyes, causing him to let go. As soon as the canary was released, Mei saw Deku in the air with his bow staff. As he spun in the air, he struck Muscular behind the head, causing him to fall to his knees. Deku landed in front of him and began hitting Muscular in the head with the bow staff repeatedly until Muscular managed to grab it. You're going to pay for that, Muscular growled. As he aimed to punch Deku, Deku quickly twisted the bow staff, detaching it into 2 batons. He went under Muscular's punch and struck him under the chin. Just as he did that, Deku pressed a button on the baton, sending out 200 bolts of electricity. He held the baton against Muscular's chin until he collapsed, steam rising from his body. Standing over Muscular's unconscious form, Deku connected the 2 batons and placed them behind his back. He turned to the child they had just saved and extended his left hand. Are you all right? He asked. Why yeah, thank you for saving me, the child replied. Now let me take you to somewhere safer. Okay. Deku picked up the child, but before he left the area, he looked back at Mei's canary. Tie up this villain at once, we can't have him getting away. You got it, Crow. As Deku left with the child on his back, Mei's canary began wrapping thick wiring around Muscular's arms and legs. After securing him, Mei flew in the direction Deku had gone. As Deku was running through the woods with the child, he suddenly saw someone in the distance and stopped. Are you one of the villains that are attacking? Aizawa asked, alarmed. What? No, I'm not. Deku was cut off when the child jumped off his back and stood in front of him. Koda, Aizawa said, surprised. Mr. Aizawa, this person saved my life from a villain, so he's not a bad person, Koda explained. Then who is he? Aizawa asked. As Koda was about to answer, Deku placed a hand on his shoulder. I'm the crow, he said. So you're the crow, huh? Aizawa replied. Yes, I am. I should bring you into custody since being a vigilante is a crime. Are you going to? Deku asked. No, I'm not. Judging by the situation, we're going to need all the help we can get. Well, it's good that I'm here because the League of Villains is after Katsuki Bakun. What? How do you know this? Aizawa pressed. Sorry, I can't explain now. I have to go find Bakugo. Please get Koda to a safe place. With that, Deku took off in the direction he had been heading. Wait! Aizawa was about to follow Deku when Koda grabbed his hand. Mr. Aizawa, he can handle himself. Aizawa sighed. All right then, let's get you somewhere safe. As Aizawa took Koda to safety, Deku arrived just in time to see two of the wild pussycats fighting against two villains. The wild pussycats noticed Deku running toward them. Who's that? Mandalay asked. I don't know, he might be another villain, Tiger replied. The villains were confused as well. Wait, I thought we were the only two supposed to go after the wild pussycats? Spinner said. We are, Big Sis Magna confirmed. As Deku ran toward them, the wild pussycats prepared to fight, not realizing his real targets were the other two villains. Deku pulled out his grappling hook, aimed it at Spinner, and fired. Spinner used his giant sword to shield himself, but the grappling hook wrapped around his blade, surprising him. Deku then pulled hard, disarming Spinner, and his sword fell at Deku's feet. I can't believe you let that guy take your weapon like that without a fight, Big Sis Magna said. I didn't know what he was planning, Spinner stammered. Whatever, just hurry up and get your sword back, Magna urged. Okay. Spinner ran toward Deku to retrieve his sword, but as he got closer, Deku pulled out his bow staff. When Spinner bent down to grab his sword, Deku struck him in the face with the staff. Spinner shook off the hit, stood up, and glared at Deku. You demon BSTRD. This isn't fair. How about you give me back my sword, and we'll have a real fight? Spinner shouted. Deku thought about how unfair this fight was, and surprisingly slid Spinner's sword back to him. Spinner picked it up, ready to fight. The two charged at each other, their weapons clashing. Magna considered helping Spinner, but as she moved, Tiger punched her in the face. Oh no you don't, you're my opponent, remember? Tiger said. Yeah, I remember, which means I have to beat you, Magna replied. Bring it on. Tiger challenged. As Deku and Spinner fought, Mandalay saw an opportunity to get the students to safety. During the clash, Deku noticed Spinner was dressed similarly to Stain. Why are you dressed like Stain? Deku asked. Because I'm spreading the teachings of Stain to everyone. Spinner declared. And what are those teachings? Deku pressed. To kill those fakes who call themselves heroes and let the true heroes live. Spinner shouted. Hearing this made Deku angry. You know nothing. Huh? Spinner replied. You know nothing of Sensei Stain. Deku pushed Spinner's sword upward, causing him to step back. Deku then twisted his bow staff into electric batons and shocked Spinner in the chest. The electricity coursed through Spinner's body, making him trip over his sword and fall to the ground. Deku looked at Spinner's unconscious body, reassembled his bow staff, and placed it on his back. He saw that Tiger had just finished fighting Magna. Now stay down, Tiger said, pointing at Deku. Go and protect the other students. I'll stay here and make sure these two don't get up. Yes, sir. Deku replied and ran into the forest to assist the heroes in need. As he ran through the trees, it grew darker. Suddenly, a large black shadow swiped at him, and he dodged by rolling to the side. He reached for something behind him but was stopped when a large figure grabbed him by the back of his jacket. Hey, get your... He started, but the figure covered his mouth. Don't raise your voice, or else Dark Shadow will notice us, Shoji warned. What are you talking about, and who are you? Deku asked. I should be asking you that. Are you with the villains? Shoji replied. No, I'm not. I'm the crow, Deku said. The Vigilante? Shoji questioned. Yes, so could you please tell me what's going on? Deku asked. Fine. My name is Mizo Shoji, and that thing that just tried to attack you is my classmate Fumikage Tokoyami, Shoji explained. What? Deku was shocked. I know it might be hard to believe, but trust me, that is my friend. Dark Shadow is his quirk. He lost control because of what happened to me. Shoji said. What happened? Deku inquired. Earlier, we encountered a villain who attacked us. I protected my friend, but it cost me one of my hands, Shoji explained. Oh my gosh, are you okay? Deku asked. Yes, I'm fine. My quirk allows me to grow limbs and replace the ones I lost. But when my friend saw that, he lost control and went on a rampage. Now he will attack anything that gets close, Shoji said. Is there any way we can save him? Deku asked. Yes, but we need something bright. His quirk weakens in extreme brightness, like sunlight. 2 of my classmates could help, but I have no clue where they are, Shoji replied. I think I can help with that, Deku said. You do? Shoji asked. Yeah, just follow my plan, Deku instructed. All right, I'm all ears. After Deku explained his plan, Shoji placed Deku behind cover and began picking up rocks with his hands. He threw the rocks in the opposite direction to attract Dark Shadow's attention. As Dark Shadow attacked the noise, Deku ran out from behind a tree and stood on the pathway Dark Shadow was on. Hey! Deku shouted, catching Dark Shadow's attention. Rah, I'll crush those who hurt my friends. Dark Shadow roared, swiping at Deku with his claws. Deku ducked just in time, then sprang back to his feet and ran toward Dark Shadow. He quickly pulled out his grappling hook, aimed at a branch, and shot it up. The hook wrapped around the branch perfectly. As Dark Shadow prepared to swipe at him again, Deku pressed a button on the grappling hook, propelling himself upward. Swinging toward Dark Shadow, he let go of the handle and soared above him. Dark Shadow roared in anger, and Deku took the opportunity to pull out 2 grenades. He pulled the pins and threw them into Dark Shadow's open mouth just as the creature was about to close it. The grenades exploded, creating a blinding flash of light that caused Dark Shadow to retreat into Tokoyami's body. Tokoyami landed on the ground, rubbing his head. Are you all right, Tokoyami? Shoji asked as he rushed over. Yes, thank you very much, my friend, Tokoyami replied. You should be thanking Deku instead of me, Shoji said, glancing at Deku, who was retrieving his grappling hook. So you were the one that saved me? Tokoyami asked. Yes, but I couldn't do it alone. Thank you, Shoji, for your assistance, Deku replied. No, thank you. I am now in your debt, Crow, Tokoyami said. So am I, thank you very much. Deku smiled beneath his mask at their gratitude, but his moment of relief was cut short by a series of explosions in the distance. Kaken, he murmured, and without hesitation he ran toward the source of the explosions. Wait! Shoji called, confused by Deku's sudden rush. Wherever he's going we should follow him, Tokoyami insisted. Are you sure about that? Shoji asked. Yes, we can't let him face all these villains alone. Shoji nodded. You're right, let's go. They quickly got back on their feet and followed Deku, unaware they were being watched. I know we are here to collect Katsuki Bakugu, but that other boy, Fumiyaki Tokoyami, might be a worthy candidate as well, Mr. Compress observed. Meanwhile, Bakugu and Todoroki were struggling against the villain Moonfish due to their lack of teamwork. When Todoroki used his ice to block an attack, Bakugu accidentally blasted it, causing it to crack. Moonfish's teeth pierced through the weakened ice, but they both dodged just in time. Damn it, icy hot, get your demon ice out of my way. Bakugu shouted. You're in my way, Bakugu, so shut your mouth and let me handle this, Todoroki retorted. As they argued, 2 of Moonfish's teeth shot toward them, but they suddenly stopped, held back by a cord around Moonfish's neck. Before they could react, Shoji appeared and scooped them up. Come on, you two, we have to move, he urged. What's going on? Todoroki asked. I can't explain now. Shoji replied as he ran. Moonfish noticed their escape and shouted, launching a tooth at Shoji's back. Just before it could hit, Tokoyami intervened. There is no way I'm letting you injure my friend again, right, Dark Shadow? He called. Dark Shadow roared in agreement, keeping Moonfish at bay. With the distance between them, Tokoyami commanded, Dark Shadow, bring him down. Dark Shadow swiped at the teeth holding Moonfish, breaking them one by one. With a final powerful swipe, Dark Shadow caused Moonfish to lose his balance, and the cord yanked him to the ground. As Moonfish attempted to summon more teeth, Deku emerged from the shadows, leaping into the air with his bow staff raised above his head. He struck Moonfish on the forehead as he landed, knocking the villain out cold. Standing over Moonfish's unconscious body, Deku raised his left hand to his ear and contacted Mei. Deku, do you copy? Yeah, I copy. Good, where are you? I'm heading straight towards you right now. Alright, by the way, I defeated another villain, so I need you to get over here quickly and make sure he doesn't get away. You got it, over and out. Deku placed his left hand down and secured his bow staff on his back. He looked to the right and saw Tokoyami watching him. Why did you come? Well, isn't it obvious? We came here to help you, of course. I see. Thank you, but you and your friend should get as far away from here as you can. Yes, we should, but we cannot. Some of our friends are still in this forest, and we won't leave until they're all safe. We want to lend you a hand as much as we can. All right then. Just then, Shoji emerged from behind a tree, still holding Bakugo and Todoroki in his arms. Inanite, get your hands off of me. Bakugo shouted. All right then. Shoji released Bakugo, dropping him on his face, which only made him angrier. He gently placed Todoroki on the ground. What the hell? Bakugo yelled as he got up. He noticed Deku staring at him, and a wave of relief washed over Deku, knowing Bakugo was safe. He wanted to shout out Bakugo's nickname but held back to protect his identity. Bakugo, still fuming, finally noticed Deku. Who the hell is this guy? This is the Crow. He came here to help, which means he's our ally. The Crow? Isn't he the vigilante that's been talked about recently? Todoroki asked. Yes, and we are lending our help to him since he saved Tokoyami, and it seems he has saved both of you as well by coming here to take down that villain. If that is so, then thank you, Todoroki replied. Whatever, I didn't need some stupid vigilante's help. I could have beaten that villain on my own. Bakugo snapped, glaring at Todoroki. As Bakugo turned back to face Deku, he was surprised to see him standing closer. What do you want? You're in danger, Katsuki Bakugo. Everyone was shocked, but none more than Bakugo. What? After Deku explained the situation, everyone was stunned to learn that the villains had targeted Bakugo. Knowing this, Bakugo would now be protected by the others, which Deku trusted them to do. Just in case, Deku moved ahead to scout for any potential ambushes. He instructed Mei to watch over Bakugo and the others, which she was happy to do. As Deku ran through the forest, he suddenly heard a scream. Looking up, he saw a girl flying through the air. Without hesitation, he leaped into the air and managed to catch her in his arms. Are you okay? He asked as he gently set her down. Why, I am. Who are you? I'm the Crow. I'm here to help. Oh, I see. Thank you for coming. Noticing her arm was cut, Deku reached into one of his pouches and pulled out a roll of bandages. Here, take this. It'll stop the bleeding. Oh, thank you, but my friend is in danger right now. I need to go back and save her. No, you stay here. I'll go up ahead and save her. Don't worry, a group of your classmates are heading this way as we speak. Just stay put and bandage that cut on your arm. Okay, I will. Good. Now tell me which direction your friend is. She's just up ahead. Thank you. Deku proceeded to run in the direction Uraraka pointed out. He soon arrived at the location and saw a girl pinned against a tree by another girl. The girl pinning her suddenly pulled out a knife, preparing to stab her. Deku quickly pulled out his grappling hook and shot it towards her, wrapping it around her wrist just as she noticed him. What the? Deku pulled the cord, making the attacker release the girl. As she turned to face him, she grabbed two knives from her thigh and flung them in his direction. Deku had to let go of the grappling hook and bent backward to dodge them. Once he regained his stance, he saw the knives fly past him and extended the grappling hook again. Toga rushed him with slashes, but Deku managed to dodge in quick succession. He executed a backflip to kick the knife out of her hand and created some distance. As he stood up straight and pulled out his bow staff, he noticed Toga just staring at him instead of attacking again. Hey you, haven't we met before? Toga's voice broke the tension, and Deku finally recognized her as the same girl from the alleyway. He remained silent, gripping his bow staff tightly, ready for her next move. No answer, huh? Well, I guess that's all right for now. Without warning, Toga launched 4 syringes at him. Deku managed to deflect them, but then he felt a sharp pain in his right leg. Looking down, he saw a knife embedded in his thigh. How did she get me? Before he could process it, Toga charged at him again, slashing with 2 knives. Deku blocked her attacks with his bow staff, but she was getting faster with each strike. I need to get some distance from her. As he stepped back, pain shot through his leg from the knife, giving Toga the opportunity to tackle him to the ground and pin him down with a knife at his neck. I got you, and you better not move, or else I'll slice your neck open. Deku lay there, waiting for an opening, while Toga gazed into his eyes, obscured by his mask. Your eyes look so familiar, I just have to get a better look at them. She reached for his mask, and panic surged through him. But before she could unmask him, a tongue wrapped around her and tossed her aside. Deku sat up to see Tsu, who had freed herself. Hey, are you all right? Yeah, Tich, thank you. Deku quickly grabbed his bow staff and turned to face Toga, but she was already retreating. I will find out what type of face you're hiding behind that mask of yours, but for now, I have to go. Toodles. Toga dashed into the forest. Stop. Deku wanted to chase her, but the knife in his thigh held him back. He fell to his knees, staring at the weapon lodged in his leg. Just as he was about to pull it out, Tsu grabbed his hand. Don't do that, or you'll spill a lot of blood. Breathing. I know that, but I have to catch up to her. I'm sorry, but you can't do that, not with your leg like this. In that moment, a wild idea struck Deku. I'm sorry, but I have to stop them all. He yanked the knife from his thigh, letting out a loud yell. Then he twisted his bow staff into batons. Wait, what are you planning? Tsu asked, concern etched on her face. Deku lowered the shock on the batons and pressed the tips against the wound to cauterize it. After holding them there for a minute, he removed them, wincing at the lingering pain. Breathing. There, now I don't have to worry about bleeding. He slowly got to his feet, ready to pursue Toga, but paused when he saw the others arriving. Bakugo and Tokoyama were missing. Hey, where's Bakugo and Tokoyama? They were just with us, Todoroki said, looking around. Oh, did you lose something? Everyone turned to see Mr. Compress perched on a branch, holding 2 marbles. Or perhaps someone? He displayed the marbles, and Todoroki reacted instantly, launching an attack, but Mr. Compress dodged, leaping onto the ice with Bakugo and Tokoyama in his grasp. Without hesitation, Deku raised his left hand. Canary! May's canary swooped down, grabbing his sleeve and lifting him toward Mr. Compress. As they pursued, Deku urged, May, could you make this canary go a bit faster? Sorry, Izuku, but I can't due to the weight. Is there really no way for us to get closer? Well, there is one, but I really don't recommend it. Just tell me what it is. Sigh. I added rocket boosters to the canary not too long ago. What? Why didn't you tell me earlier? Because they weren't stable, and if I use them, I lose control of the canary, which means you'll be on your own. Do it. W it. I said do it, May. If you don't, he'll escape with Kakin. This is our only way to save him. Realizing the urgency, May looked at the big red button on her controls, flipped the seal off, and hovered her finger above it. Fine, go get them, Crow. May pressed the button that activated the rocket boosters in the canary. As the boosters emerged from the canary's wings, it shot straight towards Mr. Compress. He turned his head to look behind him, but just then, Deku and the canary crashed into him, sending them soaring through the air. Despite the speed, Deku managed to grab onto Mr. Compress and began to pry his right hand open. Once it was pried open, Deku quickly snatched the marbles. Suddenly, the rocket boosters on the canary began shutting down, signaling that Deku and Compress were about to hit the ground. Before that could happen, Deku grabbed his bow staff and twisted it to pull out one of his shock batons, using it to shock Mr. Compress's right shoulder, causing him to lose all feeling in it. They hit the ground, but Deku was protected by using Mr. Compress as a cushion. He stood up on top of Mr. Compress, who groaned in pain from the fall. Looking up, Deku saw 3 villains right in front of him. He quickly grabbed the other baton from his back and connected it with the first to form his bow staff. Look, it's that guy I was telling you about, Toga said. Who is he? Let's beat him up and find out. Twice exclaimed. Yeah, how about we see who this is, Dabi added. Toga, Dabi, and Twice charged straight towards Deku, who knew this could be an unfair fight but was prepared. Toga threw her knives, but Deku easily deflected them with his bow staff, ensuring none got past him. Twice jumped into the air, pulling out his sharp measuring tape to attack Deku. Come on, let's see what you got. Twice shouted. Deku struggled to predict Twice's unpredictable movements. However, he noticed that Twice was only swinging his measuring tape at torso height. Seizing the opportunity, Deku ducked to avoid the tape and pulled out his grappling hook, shooting it straight at Twice's left leg, wrapping the cord around his ankle. Huh, Twice said, surprised. I got you now, Deku declared as he pulled the grappling hook back, causing Twice to fall on his back. Ow, I think I just broke something, Twice groaned. As he said that, Deku jumped into the air and struck him in the stomach with the end of his bow staff. Twice curled up in a fetal position, and Deku looked ahead to see two more villains. This guy's pretty tough, Dabi remarked. He sure is, but I'm eager to know who's behind that mask, Toga added. Then if you're eager, how about you take him on since you faced him already? Dabi suggested. Hee, I thought you'd never ask, Toga replied, running straight at Deku while throwing her knives again. He successfully deflected them once more. Toga was now right in front of him, trying to cut him with her knife. Ha, I'm glad you came, I was hoping to take your blood this time, Toga taunted. Sorry, but you won't be taking my blood anytime soon, Deku shot back. As Toga lunged forward with her knife, Deku quickly sidestepped, tripping her with his bow staff and causing her to fall to the ground. He got behind her and pinned her down. I got you this time, Deku said confidently. And I got you, Dabi said, catching Deku's attention. Deku turned to see Dabi with his palm open, threateningly close to his face. I suggest you let her go, Dabi warned. And if I don't? Deku challenged. Then I'll burn you to a crisp, so make your choice wisely, Dabi replied. Unable to think of a way to turn the tables on Dabi, Deku released Toga and stepped back. Good choice. Now tell me who the hell you are and why you're here, Dabi demanded. I'm the Crow, and I'm here to stop each and every one of you, especially your leader, Deku declared. The Crow, huh? I've heard about you, but I never expected you to come after us. Why are you after us? Dabi asked. Because your leader had my sensei killed by one of those monsters, and I won't stop until I eliminate him, Deku stated firmly. That's quite the motivation to avenge your dead sensei, but too bad you won't succeed, Dabi sneered. Just then, Dabi's palm began to spark with blue flames, ready to fire at Deku. But before he could, he was struck in the head and fell to the ground. Deku looked beside him to see Mei's canary all busted up. Canary? He called out. Yeah, I'm here. Did I get him? Mei asked. Yeah, you did, Deku confirmed. Good. The canary had a bit of juice left to help out after all, Mei said. Thanks for the help. If it wasn't for you, I would have been in serious trouble, Deku replied. Anita, did you save those two students? Mei inquired. Yeah, they're in the palm of my hands right now, Deku assured her. Good, then we should get out of here right now, Mei suggested. All right, I'll head your way right, Deku started, but he was interrupted by a light laugh. He turned his head to the left to see Mr. Compress. Compressed slowly got up, laughing. Oh my dear boy, those aren't the students. What? Deku exclaimed as the marbles in his hand vanished, transforming into melted ice that he dropped to the ground. You really are a fool, for I held on to them the whole time. Mr. Compress revealed a marble on his tongue. Deku rushed towards him, but Mr. Compress threw another marble, which transformed into a tree heading straight for Deku. He dodged just in time, but Mr. Compress sealed Dabi, Toga, and Twice into marbles and rolled them past Deku's feet. As the marbles rolled behind him, Mr. Compress released his quirk, freeing his comrades. But Deku focused on Mr. Compress, grabbing him by the jacket and pulling off his mask in an attempt to retrieve the marbles. Mr. Compress opened his mouth knowingly. You want your friends? How about you go get them? Deku glanced to his right and saw Mr. Compress flicking 2 marbles toward the others. He let go of Mr. Compress to grab one, but as it flew through the air, it separated from the other. Deku guessed and caught the left marble, revealing Tokoyami instead of Bakubu. He looked up just in time to see the other marble roll into Dabi's hand. Dabi stood up, crushing the marble. I guess we win this round, Crow. You can keep that kid, you only came here for him anyway. Suddenly, black portals appeared behind them, and the villains began to retreat. Deku set down Tokoyami and ran toward the portal, but it was closing fast. Just as it was about to shut completely, Deku leaped through and found himself back at the bar he had visited with Maze Canary, surrounded by villains, including 2 he had previously defeated with Tiger. Who the hell is this? Shigaraki asked. That's the Crow. He dove into that portal just to come after us, and it was a mistake, Dabi replied. Give me Katsuki Bakuga back. Deku demanded. Or what? Look around you, you're surrounded by villains. You can't take us all by yourself, Shigaraki taunted. Just give me Katsuki Bakuga back right now. I'll deal with you another day, Tamura Shigaraki. Deal with me? I don't even know who you are. Shigaraki charged at Deku, ready to attack, but before they could clash, Kurogiri appeared behind Deku and knocked him out. Deku fell to the ground, and Shigaraki turned to Kurogiri. Why the hell did you stop us? Because this was the boy we saw with Stain. The revelation shocked everyone except Shigaraki, who ordered Kurogiri to take Deku to an empty room and strip him of his equipment. Kurogiri complied, opening a portal and carrying Deku through it. Afterward, Shigaraki instructed the remaining League members not to interact with Deku at all. They nodded in agreement. An hour later, Deku woke up, strapped to a chair and only wearing his shirt and boxers. The room was dark, but it lit up when a door opened, revealing 2 figures. They entered and shut the door behind them. One flicked a SW, illuminating the room, while the other stepped into the light. Deku recognized the figure and glared menacingly. What's with that stare, huh? Shigaraki asked. Deku remained silent, continuing to glare. Not going to talk, huh? Well, I have ways to make you. Suddenly, Shigaraki punched Deku across the face. Instead of flinching, Deku kept glaring, which infuriated Shigaraki. He began to beat Deku brutally for 15 minutes until he was out of breath. Deku, no longer glaring, looked down at his thighs, blood trickling from his mouth. I expected one of Stain's followers to last longer than that, but I guess you couldn't. Shigaraki dragged a wooden chair to sit in front of Deku. Listen to me, if you answer my questions, then I'll probably keep you alive for a bit longer, got it? Deku remained silent but understood clearly, slowly nodding his head. Good, now tell me who you are? The Crow. The Crow. He is that vigilante that's been in the papers recently, Kurogiri interjected. Oh, so that's who you are. I've heard about you, but I never expected the Crow was the same person I saw back at Hosu, the city where the hero killer died. Hearing Shigaraki mention Stain triggered something in Deku, and he leaped towards Shigaraki but was held back by the restraints on the chair. It looks like I triggered a nerve. Tell me, did you really come just to rescue that kid, or did you come here because of me? Deku slowly raised his head until he made eye contact with Shigaraki. Be both. I came here for the both of you. Is that so? But judging by the situation you are in right now, you won't be doing anything. Shigaraki stood up and kicked Deku in the gut, causing him to spit out blood. He then walked over to the door and placed his hand on the doorknob but didn't twist it just yet. Kurogiri, I want you to attend to his injuries. As you wish. Once Shigaraki stepped out of the room, Kurogiri quickly began tending to all of Deku's injuries. A few minutes later, Kurogiri finished and headed over to the door, flicking off the light above him. As Kurogiri stepped out, he saw Shigaraki leaning against the wall. Took you some time. My apologies, his injuries. Took longer to patch up, but he'll survive. Good, now come on, let's go recruit our new number. Yes, let us go. As they walked together, Shigaraki had some questions for Kurogiri. So tell me the information about that kid who's the Crow. Certainly, the young man's name is Izuku Midoriya. He is 15 years old, his date of birth is July 15th, and his blood type is type O. Enough with all of that. All I want to know is where he lives and what school he goes to. I see. Well, to start, he lives in an apartment complex with his mother, Inko Midoriya. He goes to an ordinary school that is not too special. So by day he lives an ordinary life, but by night he becomes that vigilante, the crow. It seems so, but what shall you do with him? I've been thinking about giving him to the doctor, so he can turn him into a Nomu. A Nomu? Are you certain he will survive that type of operation? Yes, I know he will. The others told me what he can do, so he is more than capable of surviving that type of operation. Plus, I don't want that potential going to waste. You make a good point. I will contact the doctor as soon as I can. Good, one more number for my future army. A few days had passed since Deku and Bakugo were captured by the League of Villains. Ever since that day, Mei had been modifying the canary enough to save Deku. Since that night he suddenly disappeared at the training camp, Mei tracked him down by his earpiece, which was no problem for her. Once Mei found his location, she knew she had to get him out of there by any means possible. Don't worry, Midoriya, I'm coming for you. Back at the League's hideout, Deku was still strapped to the chair. From time to time, Shigaraki would come into the room and ask personal questions that Deku didn't want to answer. Refusing to answer those questions led to him being beaten until he complied. But on this day, when the door opened, Deku saw Kurohige walk in by himself. Kurohige approached Deku and stood over him. Are you awake? Deku didn't respond with words. Instead, he groaned in pain. I'll take that as a yes. By tomorrow morning, you'll be taken away somewhere. I cannot tell you where, but just keep this in mind. You will not die, that is all. Kurohige turned away and walked towards the door, leaving Deku alone in the dark once again. He began to cry, knowing that he had failed everyone. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry, Kaken. I'm sorry, Sensei. I failed, and this is my punishment for my failure. As Deku cried, he suddenly had a flashback of him and Stain during his combat training. Stain punched Deku so hard that he flew into the air and hit the ground. Stain approached Deku and stood over him. Can you still fight? No, Sensei, I can't. Is that so? Then that means your training is over today. Stain walked away, returning to the base. Deku sat up from the ground, doubting his strength. But as he did, Stain suddenly returned to the rooftop, holding 2 water bottles. Hey, catch! Stain tossed one of the bottles to Deku, who caught it in his hands. Stain then sat down next to Deku and began drinking from his water. As they sat side by side, Deku looked at the water bottle he held. What is it? Stain asked, pausing with his water. Do you ever regret training me? Deku looked up at him, uncertainty in his eyes. Why would you say that? Stain replied, turning his head to face Deku. I don't mean to offend you, Sensei. It's just that I'm not as strong as you, and I feel like I'm wasting your time. If you want to stop training me, then Deku was cut off when Stain smacked him lightly behind the head. Stop talking that way, you're making me upset. Stain placed his hand on top of Deku's head, prompting him to turn his gaze back. Listen to me. I don't regret my decisions, and you are the one I don't regret the most. I chose you because I saw a bit of myself in you, but now I understand that you are not me. Instead, you are yourself, and that is the greatest thing you could be. You may not be strong yet, but you will be. All you have to do is never give up and keep fighting. Deku felt his self-doubt fade away. He smiled, wiping away a couple of tears, and stood up, looking over at Stain, who remained seated. Sensei, can we please continue today's training? Stain grinned, standing up and placing a hand on Deku's shoulder. Yes, we can. As the flashback ended, Deku took a deep breath, regaining his composure. Sensei, even now you're helping me. Thank you. Just then he heard the doorknob being fiddled with. He raised his head slightly and saw a shadow under the crack of the door. The door unlocked, twisted, and opened to reveal Toga. Hello there, Mr. Crow, Toga approached Deku, grabbing his hair and pulling his head up to see his face. It's you, the guy that got away from me. Toga grinned widely, admiring his appearance, even with his cuts and bruises. Wow, look at you. You're so cute, even with all those injuries. She noticed a small cut on his left cheek and leaned in, but was interrupted by a familiar voice. Toga, that is enough. Toga pulled back, looking over her shoulder at Kurogiri standing in the doorway. Can't I just get a little taste? She asked. No, you cannot. You have direct orders from Tamura not to get near him. Do you understand? Yes, I understand. Good. Now come along, the others are waiting. All right, I'm coming. Toga stepped away from Deku and walked toward the doorway, turning to wink and blow a kiss at him before Kurogiri shut the door and locked it. Alone again, Deku began to think of ways to free himself when he heard a voice he didn't expect. Wow, that girl really has the hots for you, Midoriya. He turned to see Mei standing there. M.A. Yep, it sure is. I'm glad to see you're still holding up. How'd you get in here? Well, I came to the events, of course. Don't worry, I'm a good distance away from the building, so I'm fine. Now, let's get you out of here. Yeah, thanks a lot, Mei. Anytime. Mei's canary jumped from her shoulder to his arm, then hopped to his wrist, opening its beak to emit a laser that cut through the metal brace holding him down. A few minutes later, all of Deku's restraints were gone, and they broke the lock on the door to leave the room. So, do you know where my equipment is? Deku asked. Yeah, it's in a room up ahead. Great, let's go. They ran to the next room, where Deku kicked the door open. On a wooden table lay all of his equipment, and he grinned as he began to put it on, wielding his bow staff. Now fully equipped, Deku was ready to confront Shigaraki and save Baku. As he made his way through the League of Villains hideout, he approached a door and heard voices on the other side. Gently, he placed his right hand on the doorknob, twisting it slowly until it opened just enough for him to peek inside. He saw the League gathered around Bakugo, who was tied to a chair. Well, kid, have you decided to join us yet? Shigaraki asked. Screw you. Bakugo shot back defiantly. Dabi smirked. This kid really has a dirty mouth. Yes, he certainly does, Mr. Compress added. Toga chimed in. Maybe if I stab him, he won't open that potty mouth again. Shigaraki waved a hand dismissively. No, no one's allowed to touch him. In fact, I think we should set him free from that chair. Are you sure that's a wise choice? Kurogiri questioned. Of course it is. If he decides to join us, then we should treat him equally, even right now, Shigaraki insisted. Very well. Kurogiri replied. Good, now Dabi, let him free from that chair. As Shigaraki said that, Dabi nudged twice on the shoulder to grab his attention. Twice, you do it, Dabi instructed. What? But Shigaraki told you to do it, Twice protested. Yeah, I know, but I'm telling you to do it instead, Dabi insisted. Sigh, fine. Twice walked over to Bakugo and began unlocking his latches. As soon as he did, Bakugo pushed Twice out of the way and charged straight at Shigaraki, blasting him in the face. The hand gripping Shigaraki's face flew off, and Bakugo backed away, ready for the other villains to attack. But Shigaraki raised his arm to stop them. No one move. Kid, you know you can't take all of us on by yourself, so how about you surrender while you still can? Shigaraki taunted. You think I'll just surrender like a coward? You're wrong. I'll take each and every one of you on, so bring it on. Bakugo shouted, trying to sound intimidating, though he knew deep down he was outnumbered. In it, I have to get out of here before they corner me and seal me away in that marble again. I could make a break for it through the door behind me, but as soon as I try, they'll come after me. The other door on the other side of the room is... Bakugo glanced at the door behind the League and noticed it was cracked open, with a figure peeking through. Before he could see who it was, Shigaraki interrupted. Kid, I think you still need some time. Compress, seal him. As you wish, Mr. Compress replied, moving toward Bakugo. Suddenly, a container rolled by his foot, catching the attention of the others. What the foo? Twice began, but before he could finish, the container spun around, shooting out red smoke that filled the room. Deku burst through the door and dashed into the smoke, maneuvering around the villains to reach Bakugo. He grabbed Bakugo by the collar and pulled him closer. Hey, are you all right? Deku asked. It's you, Bakugo replied, surprised. Yeah, it is. Now hurry, put these on. Deku handed Bakugo some earplugs, which he quickly inserted. As the smoke cleared, the villains saw Deku standing next to Bakugo. How the hell did you get yourself free? Shigaraki demanded. I have my ways, and it seems that I'll be escaping with Katsuki Bakugo, Deku declared. Over my dead body! Shigaraki shouted, rushing toward them. But above the League of Villains, a canary hovered. Deku, do it now! Deku yelled. The canary let out a loud shriek, causing the villains to cover their ears, but Deku and Bakugo stood unaffected due to their earplugs. They sprinted toward the door, but just as Deku reached for the doorknob, All Might and two other heroes broke through the wall. Debris struck the canary, silencing its shriek. Deku and Bakugo turned to see the villains wrapped in branches, with Dabi and Kurogiri knocked out by Gran Torino. The door they intended to escape through opened, revealing Edgeshot and armed policemen. Young Bakugo, I trust that you're okay, All Might said as he approached. Yeah, I'm fine, but I didn't need your help, Bakugo replied. Even the great hero needs help once in a while, All Might chuckled, then noticed Deku standing behind Bakugo. Speaking of help, who might this be? Deku looked up at All Might but couldn't find the words. This guy, he's the crow, and it looks like he was the first to come and save me, Bakugo explained. Oh, I see. So you are the vigilante known as the Crow. It's a pleasure to meet you. I've heard so much about you and how you helped the students at the training camp. I'm very grateful for what you did back then and for what you're doing now, All Might said. Thank you, All Might, Deku stammered. Suddenly, Shigaraki mumbled to himself, this can't be the end, it just can't be. Yes, it certainly is. Your villainous days end here, All Might declared. No, it won't. Shigaraki shouted. Suddenly, black goop appeared out of nowhere, absorbing all the League members and Bakugo. Deku and All Might reached out to save Bakugo, but it was too late. He vanished along with the League of Villains. Nomus began to appear in the streets where the police and other heroes were stationed. All Might noticed this and jumped down to lend his assistance. As Deku stood frozen, he suddenly heard Mei's voice in his earpiece. Hey Midoriya, are you all right? What's going on over there? Mei asked. I am fine, but they took Bakugo again, Deku replied. Really? Mei's voice was filled with concern. Yeah, and I have no clue where they might have gone. I think I might know, Mei said. How? Deku was curious. Well, I put a tracking chip in one of those earplugs that you gave him, so I can track where he's going. Good, then can you get the canary to fly me where they're at? Sorry Midoriya, I can't. The canary got damaged with all that rubble, but don't worry, I'm on the way. It. The call ended abruptly, leaving Deku confused. He turned his head toward the broken wall and looked out into the sky, spotting something flying straight toward him. As it got closer, he realized it was Mei, wearing a mechanical suit with wings and a helmet with tinted orange visors. He exclaimed. It's Canary. Now come on, Crow, let's go save your friend. Mei extended her hand to Deku, who smiled beneath his mask. Right, let's go, Canary. Deku took her hand, and she powered the rockets in her wings, launching them into the air toward Bakugo's location. It didn't take long for Deku and Mei to reach Bakugo. They landed on a nearby rooftop and saw Bakugo surrounded by the League of Villains, with unconscious heroes behind them. A man in a suit and helmet stood among them, but Deku focused only on rescuing Bakugo. So what's our plan? Mei asked. I don't really know. If we go down there and try to take them on ourselves, we might have a chance against the League, but that other guy in the strange helmet. I don't know what will happen if we face him. You may be right. We don't know what he could do. It's best to come up with a plan quickly instead of jumping in without knowing what to expect. So come on, let's think of something. Right. Just then, Mei spotted something out of the corner of her eye. Hey, what's that over there? She asked. What? Deku looked in the direction Mei was pointing and noticed something behind a wall. He reached behind him, pulled out his binoculars, and zoomed in to see 4 people hiding. Mei, they have a problem. He handed the binoculars to her, and she looked through them. Oh shoot, those are students from UA. What? How do you know? Deku asked. My goggles can identify anyone, even if they're facing away. They're UA students. What are they doing here? No clue, but if I had to guess, maybe they're here to save Bakugo too. Yeah, I think so too, but I don't think they can handle it. So what do you want to do? Plans to save only Bakugo are out the window now. Yeah, I know. We have to get Bakugo and those other 4 out of here before anything serious happens. Yep, we sure do. After a moment, Deku and Mei devised a plan and put it into action. As Bakugo fought against the League, Deku suddenly appeared from above, right in front of him. You again? Bakugo said, surprised. Didn't it? What is it going to take to lose this brat? Shigaraki growled. Hey Kaken, Deku called out. Bakugo's eyes widened at the nickname, recognizing the voice. Are you okay? Deku asked, turning to Bakugo. Of course I'm all right. None of these losers can even touch me. I guess you're right about that. But how about we get you out of here now? Sure thing, but first. Bakugo moved to stand next to Deku, ready to fight. We've got to deal with these guys, Bakugo declared. Yeah. They stood side by side, and Shigaraki scowled. Stop them both now, he ordered. The League members rushed toward Deku and Bakugo, who prepared to fight back. Mei, meanwhile, surprised the 4 UA students who had been watching. Who are you? Kirishima asked, startled. I'm the crow's partner, call me Canary. As Mei began her part of the plan, Deku and Bakugo continued to battle the League until All Might arrived. I am here, All Might announced. So you are All Might, All for One replied, turning to see Deku and Bakugo fighting valiantly against the League. It seems that those two can handle themselves against your so-called League of Villains, which means I don't have to worry about them. Then that means only one thing. Yes, you are correct. All Might then charged straight towards All for One, engaging in battle. Meanwhile, Deku and Bakugo stood back to back as the League members began to circle them. Breathing, tired, Kaken? Deku asked. Breathing, as if. How about you, Deku? You think you can still keep up with me? Bakugo replied. Yeah, definitely. Then come on, let's finish this. Yeah, let's finish this. Suddenly, Deku pushed Bakugo away from him. Bakugo turned to question the move, but in the blink of an eye, he was swooped up by Mei, who launched them both into the air. Earlier, she had flown the 4 students hiding behind the wall out without anyone noticing. After getting the last one out, she returned for Bakugo, informing Deku over his earpiece that she was coming back for him. Deku and the League looked up to see Mei carrying Bakugo away, which Shigaraki did not appreciate. Sheet, somebody try to catch them. Shigaraki shouted. There's no point, Deku replied. Shigaraki turned to Deku, anger flashing across his face. What? By the time any of you try to get into the air and capture him, they'll be long gone. Katsuki Bakugo is no longer in your grasp. Dimenu, I'm going to kill you. Shigaraki yelled, charging at Deku. Deku took a deep breath, and as he did, time seemed to slow down, allowing him to focus on the special technique Stain had shared with him. Sensei, when you told me this technique, I didn't think I could MSTR it, but I didn't stop until I did. I worked day in and day out until I knew it was ready. If you're watching over me right now, then observe the final technique you bestowed upon me. As Deku stepped forward, time resumed its normal pace, but Shigaraki halted in his tracks. Why did you stop? Come at me. Fight me. All of you. Deku's shout filled the air, and the League members froze in fear from his technique called Bloodlust. With the League paralyzed, Deku sprinted at them, taking them down one by one until they were no longer on their feet. He then walked over to Shigaraki, kneeling to lift his head by pulling his hair. Tamura Shigaraki, you are responsible for my sensei's death. So what? Are you going to kill me like the hero killer wanted to do? Shigaraki retorted. No, I'm not. I'm not a killer like my sensei. I will bring you to justice and let the authorities handle you. This ends here, Shigaraki. This can't be the end? Well, it is because every story has its end. After Deku said that, Shigaraki fell into a portal that opened nearby. Deku reached out to grab him, but it closed before he could. He looked around and saw other villains being pulled into portals as well. Realizing that this story must continue, Deku was swooped off the ground by Canary, who flew him away from the ongoing battle between All Might and All for One. 1 month later, Deku was still fighting crime on the streets, but he hadn't stopped searching for the League of Villains. May was with him, using the smaller Canary, ready to assist if things got out of hand. On a normal day, Deku looked out at the city and smiled beneath his mask, but that smile faded when he heard footsteps behind him. He pulled out his bow staff and turned to see All Might. "I finally found you." "All Might?" "Yes, and I know it's you, Izuku Midoriya." Deku was shocked that All Might knew his true identity. Taking off his mask, he looked at All Might. "It is you. I'm glad I found out." "But how did you know it was me?" "It was when we met back at the League's old hideout. As soon as I saw your eyes, I remembered you right away but didn't say anything. I've been looking for you for a long time now." "Ah, really?" "Yes. Way before you became the vigilante known as the Crow. I wanted to talk to you ever since that sludge incident, but when I tried to speak with you, you were nowhere to be found. I even wrote letters to your house, but it seems they never reached you. Now, here you are, and I can finally ask you what I should have asked long ago." "What? Would you, Izuku Midoriya, be my successor?" Deku was taken aback by the question from the hero he admired so much. All Might said, "So what do you say, young Midoriya? Will you be my successor?" "I would love to be your successor," Deku replied. "Great then," is what I would have said back then, but now I follow a different path. "I'm sorry, All Might, but I cannot be your successor. My sensei taught me that I can be greater as a hero, and he was right. I hope you can understand." "Yes, I understand. I see that whoever taught you must be a great man," All Might responded. "He was, and I will always treasure his teachings. I wish you farewell, All Might." "To you as well, Izuku Midoriya." Deku then put his mask back on, turned away from All Might, and began running toward another rooftop. He jumped, and as he moved farther away, All Might smiled at him for choosing a great path to follow. The end.